Mother, man.
It's Bobby Hansen here, and it's freezing in Alaska. Killing whores, murder metal mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's murder metal mayhem!
Well, goddamn, Bob Hansen getting all fired up, literally.
Trigger happy, bro.
Wow. Damn, it's Tuesday, doing that thing we do every Tuesday, guys, here at Hansen His Studios.
Yeah.
Episode 119, gonna go down tonight. Should be a good one, I think.
Yes, sir, it should.
Now, Chris, Joey, you guys are here with me. How's everything going? Looking like we're all bundled up a little more. It's getting a little chilly out there.
A little chillier, but other than that, everything's doing all right. Dad's doing better and shit. So
That's good. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's, with all this COVID stuff going on, I can't imagine dealing with the medical stuff with your dad.
Right?
So,
Fuck, dude.
So I'm glad he's doing better. What T-shirts you guys got on, Chris? What is that over there? It's not Winger. I can't quite make it out.
I got my Goremonger hoodie on. And underneath that, I got the fucking Gorgy Appetite for Gore shirt on.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Representing some Goremonger there. That's
Hell yeah,
awesome.
dude.
And Joey Cashman, what about you, my friend?
I got the Chicago Domination Fest 5 hoodie. My buddy Miguel in Virulent Excision.
Yeah.
That's his fest in Chicago.
Yeah, that was really cool. Those guys came down for
Yeah.
your show, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, that was awesome. And Miguel, he'll always get a big shout out. I literally went to, I think, the first show he ever put together.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know it at the time, but I've
Sure.
known him for fucking ever. And
That's awesome.
He's with his fest, he's definitely brought bands from so many places I will never ever would have had or probably will get the chance to see again. So it means a lot to me that he does that. So
that's very cool. That's very cool. I'm sporting the Overkill shirt
yeah.
tonight, going old school with some metal. So I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
sure
I
what
like the American
CK's
flag
wearing.
wings on it. Dude.
I like that
that's
too.
pretty
That was
sweet.
cool. So yeah, so I'm not sure. We'll see what CK's wearing tonight. Doing his, of course, remotely from Wildman Street. So
CCK, he hasn't changed his
No.
Metal Blade shirt.
That motherfucker
No.
needs to do some laundry, dude.
he's
Do
still
a shirt
got
laundry.
his
Right? So I need to do that
his
shirt laundry.
CK Dirt wig on.
Yeah.
Right. C Dirt. Yeah. So last week we had a good one on Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strangler. I like the way we did that one. It was a fucked up story. Probably one of the worst childhoods you could ever fucking have.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah,
that dude
Dad was
turned into a
fucking
fucking vile piece of shit, rapist, murderer. CK, of course, on to talk about the band Jag Panzer, which is an old school band I didn't know anything about, so always cool to learn something new. And other metal news. He's got all the new releases and what's going on. I mean, he keeps it all straight. I told a couple of work stories for the Mayhem segment about that dude that was just off the fucking rails, man.
dumb.
Just being dumb. So I love that he smashed that small step stool for that one woman for no reason whatsoever. So we talked about that. We did a killer cage match. We had karaoke. We had the usual, and we just passed 1,000. So it's about average for an episode. So that's great. So thanks everybody that's checked it out. And if you missed it, go check out episode 118. It was a good one. Now tonight, guys, we've been talking about this one for a while, Chris. I mean, I'm pretty sure when you and I first sat down and made up a
Definitely
list,
mentioned Robert
Hansen would have been
I know
on that list.
And it's taken this long to finally get to him because I
Right.
was like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah. I mean, we like to spread out the ones we really look forward to. And so we don't, we could have probably gone through in 3 or 4 months, like the best ones we could have thought up.
Yeah, but fuck that.
But then again, we've been fooled, like ones like, the most unlikely ones sometimes get a lot of listens. It's weird.
God damn it, cool.
Gary Plauché, that would have been
that makes sense too.
that would have been one I would have thought maybe wouldn't have got a lot of listens, or the Ken McElroy one, which is fucking one of my favorites. That's just a good one. So we've done some really interesting ones, but Robert Hansen, the fucking Butcher Baker himself, Joey from fucking Alaska.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm glad that we're doing it now. Talking Alaska, because it's fucking cold out here in Illinois right now.
It's not Alaska cold yet, but but goddamn, it's cold. Fuck.
But definitely puts things in perspective, because, like you said, he's up there in the frozen tundra. He's raping. He's murdering prostitutes,
and they're shooting northern exposure.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's hunting them like fucking wild game with a fucking rifle out in the fucking wilderness. I mean, that's just fucked up.
Yeah.
So, definitely an interesting one tonight. And true crime fans definitely are going to know who this guy is. If you're not familiar with him, we'll definitely dig in deep and tell the story and do this one right. So, CK warming up, getting ready to throw down.
Man.
He's got some interesting ways, though, Chris, here lately. He's been just doing some stuff. Tonight, though,
butcher knives, man. He's getting out of control.
Butcher knives from the second floor apartment down at cars on Wildman Street. I don't know why anybody even drives down there.
I'd be like, I ain't going that way.
Yeah, fuck
no
that
more.
dude, man.
I heard he said if anyone wasn't throwing the horns, they got a fucking knife in them.
Oh, wow.
No,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Now,
man.
if you drive by on Wildman, you throw the horns, you're safe. So anybody at Danbury, pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely don't need a butcher knife through the fucking soft rag top or through your open window. He's a fucking madman, and we're going to have him on to talk about it. And he's going to tell us some stuff about the band Omen, another old school band, old good stuff.
Yep.
And so interested to hear about them and get CK back away from the window, stopped with the knives. He's got to run out at some point. I don't know where the hell he's getting all these knives, but whatever the case may be, he's getting
it's like
ready.
a real life video game.
His packages from Sharper Image are just constant to his house.
Or he's like doing a commercial for like Ginsu knives, like they'll penetrate the fucking top of a car,
Take it back.
We got a good killer cage match to do tonight. Chris got a few listeners to thank.
We got Wesley Hudo, Rebecca Chevy, and Charlie Dickerson. Thanks a lot for giving those numbers out. Well, gonna have a fucking good time with this battle tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. So thanks for the random numbers. We got a good one here tonight, Joe. We got the fucking Candyman himself,
The Candyman Dean Coral.
That's right, going up against who, buddy?
The Richard Speck, who I mean, if you're talking prison titties,
he's got the prison.
He's got the prison titties. Yeah.
What's that? Man, I can't remember. Oh fuck! I've been listening to the new Macabre album, and their song.
There's
by
a
Richard
song.
Speck.
Yeah, I got it. I've got it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
'Cause that's the
I got
funniest
the
shit.
clip. That's the one I used. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I read the song titles. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the
That's
one.
the one.
I didn't look to
not?
see the fucking playlist for the fucking episode yet, so
Yeah.
it's all fucking gonna be a surprise for me too.
It's in there. It's
Fucking
in there,
right,
like
man.
Prego.
But no, yeah. But Richard Speck though taking on fucking Dean Coral. That's
going to be good.
There's a lot of fucking depravity and perversity.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
and the objects aren't going to help matters, and an interesting variable tonight. So it's getting kind of crazy. Last week was it the Joe Biden with the chainsaw last week? So that was kind of crazy. So never know. Thanks to the listeners who commented about my reading of the Jesus Tree last week, my short story, about a 5-minute piece of that audio, and I appreciate that. Got another one tonight. Gonna crank up the sickness just about 3 or 4 fucking notches with a pick, Joey, off of Creation of Chaos 2. Of course, you did the cover for that one.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with this story, October
House. Yep.
Yeah. And it's all about a doctor back in the 1700s dealing with a smallpox plague, and things get a little crazy.
And of the excerpts that you've played in the last few weeks, this is probably the sickest.
Oh yeah,
of them,
and it's
for
like
sure,
13 minutes too, because it's a long scene, but it's well worth it. And we'll play that later in the Mayhem segment. So this is the last one of those I'm going to do. We'll get more of that, like I said, later. Big thanks, of course, to our sponsor, Spellbound Effects and Art.com. I mean, talk about, Chris, gifts for the holidays. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
That
Your
fucking
mom-
head he did. Did you
Which
see
one?
that he
Which
posted
one?
today?
Oh, that head?
No.
Holy
Holy
shit.
shit, dude. It's fucking
It's
gnarly.
like it's
Oh,
a
wow.
decapitated head, but it's just like I don't know whose head it is, but it looks like a fucking real head.
It straight looks like a real head. He posted it today. I was
I'll
like,
have to check it out. I
holy
haven't
fuck,
seen
dude,
it.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Tony's amazing. Tony Campagna, spellboundeffectsandart.com. Go check it out. He's on Facebook, but you can go to his website and go browse through that catalog. I mean, there is so much cool shit in there. And every price point, you know, from the thumb drives for, you know, whatever,
To a whole
15, 20
fucking
bucks. To, yeah, a full fucking coat made out of fucking what looks like human skin. Like Ed Gein is making this shit in the back. It's crazy. Spellboundfxandart.com. Go check them out.
Dude, just because we're fucking bringing it up, I'm going to fucking show you this picture.
Yeah.
Just so you can see this fucking thing that he posted.
Oh, I love seeing stuff Tony does. He does all
It's
this
fucking
custom shit, too.
gnarly, man.
I wonder if that's what this
Yeah,
is.
Michael was scrolling. Me and Michael were out on break today, and he was scrolling through fucking Facebook, whatever. He's
Right.
like, "Hey, bro, have you seen this?" I was like,
Wow.
"Oh,
Is it a
shit,
video
dude."
or just
No,
the
it's
still shot?
Still shot, but it's
Yeah.
fucking nasty.
Yeah,
man.
Tony's the shit, man. I love his stuff, and anytime we've asked him to send us something, we asked him to do Spike for the demonic possession episode,
Hooked it up, dude. Fucking,
and the fucking lamp
he's a badass motherfucker. man.
looks like it's
well,
made
now
of
I
human
can't
skin.
find it, so never mind.
Of course,
But it might have been on his Instagram or whatever, but it was fucking cool. You'll
that's
probably see it
awesome.
at some point.
Oh yeah. So thanks to everybody out there listening to Murder Metal Mayhem. We continue to see the numbers rolling in. This week we're just under 2,500 total listens, but that's still great, and we really do appreciate it. Fucking Fort Stevens or Lake
Yeah,
Stevens,
right.
Washington is still top
Yeah. How the
at
fuck
like
did you find
11
that?
or
Fuck
12%. Oh wow, they're
Sorry
passing
to interrupt
me,
you,
Yeah,
Pete.
just
That's
pass
okay.
Pete my phone. Let him actually.
They're
see this
passing me
shit.
the Tony Campagna.
Dude, isn't that
Spellbound
fucking
Effects.
incredible,
Wow.
though?
Yeah, this is a human head, like decapitated, and it looks so realistic. It's
like if he made that
unbelievable.
of me, I would fucking be freaked out. 'Cause it's like
That would
'Cause,
be
like,
weird.
Yeah.
What the
That
shit?
I'm
bro?
looking at my fucking severed head.
Yeah,
That
that
would
is
be
pretty
fucked
fucked up. So thanks to everybody out there listening. But Lake Stevens, Washington, I just can't believe it, man.
Still number one. Thanks,
Still
Lake
number
Stevens.
one. So thank you guys and all of you.
Thank
that are
everybody
listening.
else out there too, not just Lake Stevens.
Of course, yeah, of course. So, Chris, Joey, got a lot on our plate tonight. Going to go northwest to the frozen tundra.
Fuck
Yeah.
As if it wasn't cold enough here. We're going north, Joey. We're going to enjoy some baked goods and try not to be one of the hunted in the fucking woods.
Yeah,
so.
fuck.
Some,
Fucking
some
right.
scones and
Some
whores.
scones and whores. Let's get a murder on, baby.
So I'm tough, but you lack comprehension. Subtlety is lost in your empty mind. Score truth for your factual advantage. Utterly indignant to the waste of life. Preacher of an evidence of prison. Resonates out the frequency of lies. Bow down to the ill-conceived agenda. Worship the face of the bad side. Connotation. Listen with the law. I don't like it.
Fuck yeah, man. That's fucking Harlot. Holy shit. An Australian thrash band. It sounds like they're from California. New album coming out just last week on Metal Blade. Fucking amazing. I
That
can't get
shreds.
over
I
that.
haven't heard it, but that right there shreds, man.
It's ripping, man. CK featured it on his Thursday live, and I really dig these guys. Been listening to them nonstop since CK mentioned it. CK is the fucking man. I can't even remember
yeah.
all the bands that since we've been doing this podcast
That he's done.
that he's mentioned,
Yeah.
whether it be in a Lost Classic or a feature, or now he's doing the Facebook Lives on Thursday. But where he's told me about a band that I even haven't heard in a long time and made me want to go
just never
listen.
wanted to really listen to or
Or
heard
never
of.
even fucking heard of
Right.
before. Like these dudes. Holy shit. So CK legit is the great metal motherfucker.
Right.
So,
Hell yeah.
and I sent these guys a message on Facebook like, hey, I'd love to do an interview. And the singer, guitar player, Andrew Hudson, responded. It was all cool. And so we're going to do something with him here in the next week or so. So
Fucking can't wait for that.
yeah, it's really cool when they respond that quick. I'm also trying to link up with Daz from Benediction. We're trying to work out what software or what system we're going to use, because I don't know if he uses Skype, and he wanted me to use WhatsApp, and I'm not real familiar with it. It's more of a phone thing than a computer thing, so we'll work it through. But he's really super cool too, and was all about doing an interview.
Yeah,
so.
right. I remember that. But
Yeah.
I don't even know what WhatsApp is. Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's
But I'm
kind of like
dumb.
Skype, but it's meant for people to chat with video, but on a phone.
Nice.
Tonight, though, we're going to talk about Robert Hansen, the butcher baker from Alaska. He raped and murdered at least 17 women from 1971 to 1983 around Anchorage, Alaska. Beautiful country. I mean, you see pictures of it. It's
Wide
fucking
open.
amazing. But I know guys that were there in Alaska in the Army at Fort Greely, I think it is, that loved it up there. But I've never been, so I don't know. My parents go up there to fish once a year on like a boat, but like a commercial boat.
Yeah, out there fucking.
Yeah, they go
Like
get
fucking
halibut.
deadliest catch.
Like halibut the size of my mom. There's a picture of my mom standing next to a halibut that's the size of that door.
Yeah.
God damn.
Not kidding. Yeah, it's fucking
huge.
nuts, man. So
He
it's
said like deadliest
it's
catch. Fuck that.
yeah, not quite like that, but they're doing some pretty crazy shit
Yeah.
in their 70s. Like fuck it. Many of the people though up there in Alaska are you know sometimes kind of get away from things. You get a
Right.
lot of drifters, so the community's kind of sketchy at times. And this motherfucker is hunting women in the fucking wilderness
Yeah.
with a fucking Mini 14 and a fucking knife. I mean, pretty crazy shit.
And an airplane.
Yeah, he has a pilot's license, which is nuts. Really adds so many textures to this story. I'm really, really excited to do this one because he's taking his victims out in these remote areas and literally hunting them like game. That's fucked.
He was using his surroundings to his advantage
Because it's
Right.
a wide open space.
to
like
morph into a different type of serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, a very interesting serial killer. That's why this one particularly has always interested me.
And he was a fucking good hunter. And
He
an avid hunter,
was.
too.
Yeah,
So,
he
like,
was. So very, very interesting layer to this
Big
story.
game wasn't sport enough. Human it is.
Yeah, exactly. Needed
Surviving
to
the
step it
game.
up a notch.
Surviving the game.
Alaska, is a haven to hunters, and with a big oil boom, you had a lot of people coming into the area, an instant need for strip clubs, prostitutes, bars. You got these guys working in the oil industry, and this would be Robert Hansen's perfect fucking hunting
It's
ground.
like, goddamn, it's
made
cool if
for
you
it.
want to be a hooker and shit, but why, go be where it's cold and you're wearing the miniskirts
Yeah.
and shit? Like,
Right?
Like, dude,
Yeah,
it
go
was
to
too cold
Malibu
for
or
this.
something.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
God, Miami, So anyway, so it's always prostitute season for Bob Hansen, the butcher baker. So
the butcher, the baker, the prostitute-raper.
Chris, what's it about this case that interests you, man?
The fact that he did hunt them and like what we just talked about, the fact that he hunted them, he had a means to do it too with the air pilot license, owned his own airplane and shit. So like he could just take them wherever he wanted. And that just kind of, I think, is pretty fucked up right there.
I agree, man. It's like I don't think we've ever done one where they've like tortured them in one place and then
And
get
then
them on
it's
a
like,
plane
yeah,
and
take
take
'em on
them.
a
It's
plane.
pretty elaborate. It's almost like some Israel Keys shit, which is funny. Another Alaskan, but
I mean, and also, this is another case of, somebody who's fucking living the double identity. So while he's doing all this, he also has a fucking normal life.
Right, 100%
Right.
Per
normal
se,
life.
that he's fucking dealing with, too. So
I mean, for the kind of, yeah.
Yeah, now, Joey, what do you think about the true crime, the faithful, the ones that follow it like we do? They're going to know who this guy is.
Yeah, I think Robert Hansen, especially like in, previous years and stuff, like, it was pretty sensational. Now, at the same time, if I was just talking to some normal people who were like trying to get into it or whatever, and I brought them up, they might not know, so it might be an interesting story. So anybody that's listening to this that doesn't know who it is, we hope you like this one.
Fucking right.
But yeah, I think like most of any aficionado, they're gonna know Robert Hansen.
Yeah, I think so too. So Robert Hansen, though, Chris, he's got a birthday pretty close to ours, February 15th.
Yeah, pretty fucking close.
And he's from the fucking Midwest.
That's right.
Yeah, he's originally from the Midwest.
I know.
So, yeah.
He was actually born in Iowa in 1939. Grew up in a town called Pocahontas, Iowa. So
there's a Pocahontas, Illinois, too.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I seen a porno once called Pocahontas. Fucking.
So Pocahontas is a small town, about 1,500 people in the northwest kind of part of Iowa. Father is Danish. He's an immigrant. He's also a baker. He's a very strict disciplinarian type, and Robert would take after his dad, and definitely, the baking thing, Chris, he was very good at it.
I mean, when you start when as young as he did, and that's all you fucking do because you're basically forced to.
Yeah, he's getting up at like 2 a.m. on days he's got to go to school and
works
shit.
for a few hours before he goes to school, and then gets out of school, fucking back in the bakery. You go,
Dunkin' Donuts.
Time to make the donuts. So yeah, I mean that would suck for sure. Now he's not only dealing with that, which would be enough for most people, but he has a very tough time. He's got a bad acne problem that left scars, a severe stutter,
right, very
and
bad.
No fucking self-confidence. So this dude is having a rough fucking go. The girls at school don't want anything to do with him, and that would be the foundation of a lot of his problems. He really resented it, and his hatred toward women started all the way back then and really would be kind of the gas on the fire when he started melting down and started doing all the crimes he did. Now, Chris, we've heard this before. The shy kid at school, problems with girls, the loner. You throw in the stuttering and the bad acne, and I mean, it's just a mess, man.
I've definitely heard all this before, and the stutter's got to be one of the most terrible things. You're already going to be self-conscious about that.
Right, and it makes it worse. The more upset you get, I'm sure the stutter is worse.
When you're nervous like that, when you have a stutter,
right.
It's going to, like you said, get worse. So when he's even trying to talk to people, trying to make friends, I'm sure it didn't help because he's nervous about that. He can't get the words out straight.
Right.
But obviously people fuck with kids like that. I mean, it doesn't.
I know. Kids are fucking cruel.
I don't think they should go out and kill people because of it. But
no, I mean, obviously not everybody that stutters and has bad acne in school goes out and does what this sick motherfucker did. But we see certainly the kind of where it's all coming from, at least with him. He wasn't able to deal with it like maybe a normal person would. So life is definitely not going the best for him. His father, like I said, very disciplined, really tough. He had a lot of resentment towards his dad. He's a loner, and we've done this before with these killers. He doesn't fit in, gets lost in his own dark fantasies. And Joey, that's another one of the common threads we see in a lot of these. The loner, dark, in puberty, lots of weird thoughts are going into your head that weren't there before.
Well, and then you got this guy, and he's a loner. He's got these fantasy. He hates women already from an early age, because he was getting, basically fucking dissed by all of them.
Right.
And then he hates his father.
Right.
So you're fucking coming from 2 points of attack there. You got the male and the female. You're just antisocial and
altogether,
probably sociopath and to begin with.
Right.
So you hate your dad. You get forced into this business, which then you carry on. so is there some part of you that fucking always thinks, well, this is all I was going to be good at anyway. So really, in your success, you're fucking hateful towards yourself with a self-loathing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to look into it, but from all accounts, I mean, it's crazy because he did have his family and shit. And, you know, if all his customers said that basically he was a nice guy to deal with and all that. But at the same time, you know how much hatred he had built up in him like, constantly.
I mean, I saw that he was like, as a teenager, he was already fantasizing about separating, like, who was good and who was bad, basically. Like, this is I'm gonna kill these type of people, dude. Fucking.
Wow.
And it just happened to be females that he liked.
Yeah. Really, really strange. Now, he does enjoy archery and hunting as a teenager. He would spend a lot of time doing that, at least. And, of course, as we'll find out, he would take that love of hunting and turn it into his own fucked up fantasy, which is just nuts. 1957, though, he joins the U.S. Army Reserve, but he only did a year and got kicked out. Did you guys see what he got kicked out for?
I didn't see that.
I looked and I couldn't find anything other than he did a year and got out. So
that's basically all I saw too.
I don't know. 1957 would have been, you know, between Korea and Vietnam. So
man, and
you know,
with his history, like his crimes that he, you know, basically started getting into as soon as he got out of the military.
Right.
It's not hard to think that it was probably something sexually orientated. I would think some kind of assault crime, which back then you would think that the military would probably also sweep under the rug and try to keep quiet.
Just get him out.
Yeah. So
it's very possible. He was a reservist too, so we would only been doing the one weekend a month and 2 weeks every summer. So
I feel like fucking it was probably some devious shit that he did.
Probably, or stealing, because he was a fucking
klepto.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's very possible. And the Army's not going to tolerate that bullshit.
It probably wasn't because he made them some tarts.
No. He would wind up going on later to be an assistant drill instructor at the police academy in Pocahontas. I'm thinking, what the fuck kind of police academy is there in a town of fucking that size?
Probably the one with Bobcat Goldthwait.
I mean, I'm sitting there trying to think of that. Unless, like, the county built a nice facility in this little town. I mean, I'm not trying to diss the town. I'm just like, it's like Hayworth's police academy. Like, what the fuck? Where is it? You know,
I mean, I guess that makes
a farm
sense.
somewhere.
It's probably like Jerome's police department.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Totally. Oh, they definitely need a police department up there. It was around this time he would start dating younger women, and he winds up, you know, dating Phoebe Paget, who he would later marry in 1960, but it didn't last that long. He fucks this up pretty good. Robert Hansen would start getting into trouble. Apparently the married life, guys, was not exciting enough for him. So
no, he'd like fire too. So yeah,
he gets a little crazy. He gets arrested in 1960 for burning down the bus garage of the school district.
Like, what the fuck is that? I'm so pissed at this school still.
At
Fuck
the Pocahontas County School District, he burns the bus barn down. I mean, really? Those fucking guys work hard. They got to fucking. When are they going to get the kids to school?
Just because
I mean, that's just
he didn't like the
up.
kids in school. He fucking did this.
Yeah, his revenge for his shitty school experience is burning the bus barn down.
Unless the bus driver like raped him on the bus.
Maybe,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe.
Maybe he
Give
had a
him some
grudge.
credit, you know, maybe.
I doubt it, but maybe.
He gets 3 years for that, but only served 20 months at the Anamosa State Penitentiary. That's a pretty tough prison. I've seen that on those toughest prison shows before. That specific prison, not an easy place to do some time. He was diagnosed in prison for having bipolar disorder, which is another thing that military could have picked up on if he was acting goofy there.
Section 8.
With periodic, for sure, periodic schizophrenic episodes. Definitely not sounding good. The doctor also said he had an infantile personality. Yeah, no shit.
You think so?
And was
That was
obsessed
some
with
pretty
getting
childish
back
shit.
with people who he felt wronged him. No shit.
He just held the ultimate grudge at all times.
I mean,
Like,
goddamn.
like
I
any
should have
little
done
thing,
karaoke for burning down the house. That would have been good. Chris Hansen's wife, though, she files for divorce while he's in prison.
You
6
think
months. All it lasted, but file that one under good fucking idea.
Yeah, I mean,
get
I
rid
would
of
too.
that motherfucker.
And like parents didn't like the fact that like you shouldn't be with him. He's going to do more fucked up shit. And she's like, oh, yeah, I agree. I'm the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
dude.
she
This
was
dude's fucking
smart.
nuts."
She was smart. Now, Joey, with the diagnosis like that, it doesn't sound like things are going to turn out real good for old Bob Hansen.
No, and I would hope that in fucking nowadays with somebody with a diagnosis like that, people would come in to try to help that person and try to
yeah.
work through that shit.
Especially if he was getting out of the
Right.
military for that reason, because I know the
It's like,
VA
okay,
now
you
is
need to
very
get you some help,
serious
dude.
But
Yeah.
back
about mental
then,
health.
if
yeah.
he's fucking feeling that way, if he's not one flew over the cuckoo's nest, you know what I'm saying? They're
Right.
not gonna fucking, they're not gonna take it seriously, and they're
Oh,
gonna just
sure.
put you back in society, and that's where the danger
Now you got
there
it right.
lies. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point, because, this guy is obviously able to come off as pretty normal, which
and
is
obviously
scary.
they don't catch all these people now, and fucking people are diagnosed fucking infinitely way more now than they were back then with all kinds of shit.
Right.
Everybody's got some fucking problem with them nowadays, you know.
True, true.
Back then, like if you fucking had any kind of thing, you were kind of looked at as,
Oh, yeah.
as a weirdo.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like
Very
a true psycho. I
stigmatized.
guess you're just a psycho.
Right, right. Now, over the next few years, he goes to jail multiple times for various petty crimes. He's often stealing, which, he
So that-
became well off, as a baker.
baker, yeah,
so
he
he
had that
didn't need
great
to
fucking-
steal,
Yeah, the whole, like, the cops, while he's doing all these murders, are coming to his bakery and shit and getting
Right.
donuts and whatnot.
Right.
But behind the scenes, he's doing evil shit like hiding the remotes and shit.
So he's
fucking-
obviously got a problem with stealing.
He's on that
a
Charles Ng
kleptomaniac.
shit.
Right, for sure.
Like, for real. Can't help himself.
Right. It's funny because I made a note today about Charles Ng, thinking about the whole just stealing for the sake of stealing.
yeah. Right.
Didn't really need to, you
No,
know.
not at all. Fucking.
Yeah, Charles Ng, we did that, Leonard Lake and Charles Ng a while ago. That was a good one if you missed that. That dude just fucked up. So he somehow manages to get married a second time, though, in 1963 to Darla Henriksen, who actually, she was pretty legit. She had like a master's degree in education.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck was she doing with him?
That's what I'm saying. This dude was like, he was holding grudges and he was fucking being a bitch about
But
shit.
he could keep it together,
But
man.
well, and at the same time, and he had women in his life. He was getting
Right.
girls, and if he didn't, he'd fucking pay for pussy. So, what are you so fucking pissed off about all this
Right.
goddamn
Yeah,
time?
I
you know what I'm
don't.
saying?
Yeah, I don't know what
Like,
he's
that was their
pissed off
family
about.
and shit.
I
fucking-
think some of it is because, like they were saying, he was infantile and fucking
Yeah.
just didn't get his way or
Right.
whatever. You know, who were we talking about that used to get fucking? He would try to fucking fuck up anybody who like had more money than him or had fucking.
Oh,
was better.
Ramirez?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
or I don't even think that was who it was, but somebody we were talking about. But yeah, tried to bring him down to his level. Was that Ramirez?
Right.
But
maybe, I don't know.
anyhow, it's the same kind of situation with this guy as how I felt. Is he fucking held them grudges so long, but
Right.
if he took a step back and looked, he didn't fucking really have that much to bitch about. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem like an overreaction, obviously. Even we're laughing about the burning the bus barn down,
Yeah.
but he goes a lot fucking further.
I feel like he had every goddamn step to get away from that life that he despised,
Right.
and to separate himself from it, and he just couldn't let it go. This motherfucker had a pilot's license. He had a fucking plane.
Right, his
You're
own
not fucking
business.
that poor.
He
You
had,
know what I'm saying?
he had a good business going
Yeah.
on.
yeah,
so-
he really did.
And
So,
then,
was
and
good
like
at
you
what
said,
it's baking
second
shit.
wife, and the wife's not a fucking dingbat. Like,
no, she's not. A nice looking lady with a master's degree and a teaching background.
Yeah.
They wind up having 2 kids. 1967, he moves them to Anchorage because of all the, new economy kind of thriving there with the oil boom and all that. His neighbors would say good things about him. Chris, you pointed out the customers in the bakery, they all liked him.
Fucking like, say he was
Good
cool,
guy.
fucking, let's do this.
Nobody had anything bad to say about him. He also, as Chris, you pointed out, was very well regarded for his hunting.
Right, you got
Pope
awards
and
for that
Young,
shit. Fucking,
all sorts of magazine spreads and trophies and just all sorts of shit. So
looks
very,
like
very,
Jake.
yeah.
yeah. I
always
mean, it's
fucking-
amazing, man.
I always wondered with him too, like, because obviously nobody's going to come forward, but did Robert Hansen do this completely all alone? Whenever he was hunting, did he come up with the ideas that he wanted to hunt these women and just do it? Or was there other times that he was with other hunters, you know what I'm saying?
See, he
talking
alluded
about-
to the fact that there were people helping him.
Right.
And he was trying to get the cops to play on that, but they wound up not panning out.
And it's
so.
probably some bullshit, but at the same time, it's like, man, them hunters
could
all
totally
hang out.
see
and,
it.
and that's a conversation I bet a lot of hunters, it's serious
Could we
hunters.
could we have? Could you imagine what
Could
it'd be
you
like
hunt
to
a
fucking
human?
hunt a person?
Yes.
Could you?
Yes,
yeah.
I could see it too.
These
I
guys
was
are just
actually
fucking around and it's
surprised that
going
they
through
didn't
his
find
head.
something with that.
I mean, who knows if like a couple of them fucking he didn't get paid some big money to take these people out and let them.
Right.
I mean, that's some conspiracy theory.
I know,
shit,
but no, it's fucked up. It really is. 1971, he's arrested 2 times, once for the abduction and attempted rape of a housewife, and again for raping a prostitute. He pled no contest for the assault with a deadly weapon for the housewife, but the rape charge for the prostitute was dropped as part of a plea bargain.
Dude, every time I see somebody get popped for a rape on a prostitute, I feel like
yeah, what
you are
an
the
idiot.
that's what they're giving you right
Right.
there. What the fuck did you do to where
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
What the fuck
How
is
you
wrong
gonna get
with you?
fired on your day off?
He gets a 5-year sentence, but only does 6 months of it before he's put on work release, and he's in a fucking halfway house. So,
Whoops.
yeah, Chris, I mean, we've seen a lot of this stuff. These guys get out early or real light sentences, and he's definitely escalating. You know, he burned the bus barn down. Now he's raping.
Now he's out raping, kidnapping, basically. Got a gun to him the whole time. Like,
Right.
he shouldn't be out of prison after fucking 6 months for a 5-year sentence.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
So this isn't going to go anywhere good.
No. 1976, Hansen gets busted for stealing a chainsaw. Here's the Charles Eng thing.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
fuck
saying.
yeah.
Total fucking thing. What was the thing Eng stole? Vice?
Yeah, I think a vice.
a bench
Stupid.
vice or some shit.
I mean,
yeah.
at least this was a chainsaw, but nonetheless, he said he wanted to get it for his dad for Christmas, so he wanted to steal it. Like,
But
it
the
makes
motherfucker's
no
got
fucking
money.
sense. Dude, just go buy it, you fucking idiot. He's a klepto. He couldn't fucking help it. But
Remember, fucking Ted Bundy was like that too.
Oh, yeah,
He just
there's a
fucking
lot of them
loves to
that are like
steal
that.
Shit.
yeah, they get off on, even if it's like a pack of gum, they
Yeah.
just love doing it.
Just burning a company or a fucking store. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
He pled to guilty to larceny. He gets 5 years plus required psychiatric treatment, but the Alaskan Supreme Court reduced his sentence to time served, and he's free to go. I mean, what the fuck, Joey? I mean, really?
I mean, was there COVID then? Why did they let him out?
I don't know, but I mean, he starts killing in 71.
Yeah.
So he is totally, as you pointed out, cubing, like BTK says,
Right.
able to act like a chameleon, man. Every time he's somewhere else, he's like a totally different person.
I mean, and to me, the wildest shit is the transportation of the victim each time. Like,
Yeah.
you say he went from place to place with him, you know, brought him out in the fucking wild and let him go, and fucking,
Blindfolded him and
I mean,
shit.
we'll get to the last victim. I mean, she was just fucking completely lucky
Wow.
as fuck.
She was.
Otherwise, I don't think fucking he might never have got caught for any of it.
It's very possible, man. He was in the perfect place. You know,
Yeah.
we talk about it all the time. The prostitutes, Chris, are the easy victims because they go with people they don't know all the
Yeah.
fucking time, and they're drifters. They're in and out,
Mostly,
transients.
A lot of times people aren't even looking for them.
Yeah, and if they were missing for a couple of weeks, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even notice it. They might come back and then stay for a month and then be gone for 6 months.
And they didn't have the same fucking kind of computer systems that we have now, of course.
True.
With the fucking, you know, the internet and the victim
Right.
fucking categorizing.
Social media.
Cell phone on you all the time.
Yeah, so these
like,
cops back then, I mean, you're looking at him from okay, this dude in our town, this baker with a family, yada yada, whose kids go to school. But if you're able to look deeper, like obviously now you can in seconds, it's like, oh wait, this dude with all this fucking psychiatric background and fucking criminal
they didn't know.
activity and all this, you would have no clue because you're just looking at him as this dude that moved here and for all intents
can't look him up on
he's-
Facebook and
yeah,
shit like
he's
that.
just
Right.
this fucking baker, and he's been a nice guy. So
Right.
you would have no reason to fucking believe any of that shit.
It's true.
But then you look back, and it's like, oh man, this dude's actually really fucked off.
Right.
So the cubing effect, nowadays, I guess is what I'm saying, is probably way harder for a killer to pull off. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so too. It's tough to get away with anything nowadays.
I think that's
but
why
at
there's
this
so many
time,
more,
for
like,
sure,
the drifter or fucking trucker killers. That's why they're fucking more of what you've seen recently, because they're the ones with still the way to get away with all that.
Right. Perfect, legitimate reason to be gone 3 states away by the next day. Now, Hansen is able to stay under the radar for a few reasons. We've talked about this. He's a respectable business owner. He's got Hansen's Bakery, good business. Everybody knows who he is. He's got a wife and 2 kids. Pretty typical,
Just regular old family guy running his business.
Yep. Got his house, on the surface, completely normal dude. We know he's raping and killing fucking prostitutes. And again, with the cubing reference that Catherine Ramsland told us about in an interview we did, BTK saying that each of his different personalities were like sides of a cube, and he was able to play that part when he had to play that part and just move to the next seamlessly. It's amazing. I mean, a lot of these guys do that shit. Gacy, I mean, a lot of them. Dahmer, I mean, they can act somewhat normal or very normal in public.
Once they get that point, like Bucky.
Yeah, once the door closes and it's just you and them,
and you know
different
what?
Story.
Almost every one of the biggest cases that even that you just talked about, the ones that cube, you talk about Gacy, you talk about Hansen,
right?
BTK. All of those are also some of the most narcissistic serial killers.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's
for sure.
Catherine Ramsden said that about.
Yeah, so the personality just
about them
fucking
people
gets brought out with that. Along with it. So it's like, you're able to do that because you're such a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very true. Now, his game was to pick up a prostitute, force her at gunpoint to his hunting cabin, where he would rape her and then fly her, as we talked about, to a remote part of Alaska where he'd hunt her like wild game before shooting and stabbing her. I mean, that is just some fucked up shit. And this shit would go on through the 70s, and a number of the victims is really not known.
He'd bring them in, make them strip and all right, go, basically.
Yep.
Go on, get naked and whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, fucked up. I mean, literally hunting a human being. I mean, it's just beyond comprehension that he was doing this for, 12 years. And the police believe it was 17 victims. We'll get to some of the detail of this and how they come, at that number here as we go. Now, Joey, you alluded to this. 1983, Bob Hansen offers a 17-year-old prostitute, Cindy Paulson, $200 to perform oral sex. I mean, Jesus Christ.
High price.
That's a lot of money now, let alone 1983 money.
Yeah,
that's
bro.
crazy. That's a lot of fucking money for a blowjob, that's for sure.
I mean, I feel like he just wanted her specifically.
Well, of
so
course.
He was like,
Here
it's not
we
like I'm
go.
going to lose
She's
this money.
never going to turn that down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. But it's just so funny because he would later say that he thought she should pick up on that it was an outrageous, amount of money for what she was going to do.
She's also young
especially
and
at that
dumb, so
time.
she's just like, some rich guy.
Yeah, I'll make the $200. Once she's in the car, he pulls the gun on her. He takes her to his house because the family's away. So he brings her into his basement, and he's got this whole fucking setup with, the basement supports, the pole, metal pole bracing in the basement. So he chains her up to that. He rapes her, tortures her. He's got her, she claims in her accounting of it that he raped her on a bearskin rug in the basement. After they get finished, he's fucking tired, Chris. He decides to just crash out. On a couch, right next to her.
Yeah.
And
he's
he
like,
just
"Don't wake
fucking
me
goes
up.
to bed.
Don't wake me up."
So
that's pretty fucking ballsy.
And in this book, Butcher Baker, that I read, it was actually very good. I wish I would have read all of it, but I read a lot of it. Walter Gilmore and Leland E. Hale. The book Butcher Baker is really good about Robert Hansen. But the harrowing account of that in the book is really amazing. She tries to escape through a window in the bathroom. She got him to let her go to the bathroom, and she shut the door, and then she sees a window, so she was going to try to escape. but the window was nailed shut, so she couldn't open it. And then he came in there and found her and then brought her back out and chained her up again. And it's fucked up. But then after the nap, he tells her he's going to take her to the airport. He tells her everything he's going to do. And she thinks maybe she'll be able to get away. You know, she'll have a chance to get away. And she's handcuffed in the back seat. And she sees her chance when he's out at
Fucking with his
loading the
airplane,
plane. And he's got his back to her. She's like, fuck it. So she busts out. She's barefoot, handcuffed, and he's fucking chasing her. This is fucked up. You know, very, very, you know, just riveting when you're reading it in the book and in the movie we'll talk about, you know, her side of the story. I mean, pretty crazy to even imagine the fear that would be in your mind as you're running away from this fucking nut.
Yeah.
And she really got lucky, Chris, that she found that semi driver to pick her up. I can't imagine how afraid she must have been, and she was so fucking lucky, man.
She is super lucky, but I mean, in order for her to be so scared of him that now I'm just going to get in a vehicle with another dude that I have no fucking idea who this guy is either. He could be rolling up on me too, doing some shit. Sees me like this. That, I mean, he had to put some fucking major fear and just the fear of I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is my only chance. This guy hopefully helps.
Right.
So
yeah,
I'm sure
I mean,
she was scared
exactly.
as
She
shit,
had
bro.
to be scared, but I mean, scared to the point where she was willing to get in a vehicle
With another person
with
she
another
has-
guy that
another
she
dude
doesn't
that she
know.
doesn't
But
know,
he had
like-
also, you know, he told her that he had killed other women too.
Right.
So she knew that he wasn't fucking around. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
her death. You know, that's
Oh
what
yeah,
would happen.
yeah. I mean, she did the right thing, of course. The truck driver winds up dropping her off at a hotel where she goes to contact. It's funny. In one of the accounts I read, it's referred to him as a boyfriend, but everywhere else I saw him as a pimp.
Right.
So that's what, you know, two different accounts. I don't know which is true, but I'm assuming the pimp was correct. Apparently, he was at another hotel called the Big Timber Hotel. And they described the scene, you know, she wants to get, you know, out of the truck to avoid Hansen catching up to them. So she convinces the truck driver who didn't want to let her out to let her out because he wants to go to the police,
Right.
which he does. He drives straight to the fucking police station
After dropping her off.
After dropping her off at the Big Timber or at the other hotel. She calls her boyfriend or pimp from there, and then they wind up finding her there. She's still handcuffed, but by herself. The pimp, when he found out about it, he's fucking pissed. He goes to the airport, but of course Hansen's not there anymore.
Right.
So pretty crazy. And the movie, I thought, you know, did a pretty good job with that whole explaining how that all went down. The police take her down to the station. She describes Hansen. They know who he is because they've had run-ins with this dude before.
That's what I'm saying. He was right there in the spotlight.
I know.
For them.
I know. It's just like so obvious they couldn't see it, you know.
Or, I mean, yes, that, and also they just obviously didn't give a shit about the prostitutes.
I'm sure that plays into it because, you know, they're going at this thing half speed. You know, if it's the kid of a congressman, then everything stops, you know.
Now, okay, to give it credit to, now a lot of these women, they're not all of them, because not all of them are prostitutes. I'm not trying to talk shit on the victims.
Yeah, the early victims were not prostitutes.
But the fact is he did lead them to what remains he could find. So it's not like they were finding bodies.
Right.
They were just missing.
Right.
So I will say that does, you know, it does take away from some of the seriousness unless you're fucking finding corpses all over the place. It's a bit different.
for sure.
So the way he was doing it helped himself out immensely. And if he hadn't got caught, would they have ever been found?
Probably not.
Right.
Not where they were.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's denying it. He says he's trying to, you know, she was trying to cause problems with him. She was trying to extort him, and he was just like, you know, it's just a big bunch of bullshit. He's, of course, playing off in this meek and timid look. His friend, John Henning, provides an alibi, but the police, you know, they believe it. and so they don't look at him as a suspect. Now,
No.
I did see somewhere where they reference 2 different friends giving him alibis. I don't know. Also, they reference a pizza delivery driver.
They said, "Oh yeah, I saw
recognized.
it. I delivered to him
Yeah.
or some shit."
Gave him some cash or whatever.
Yeah,
like-
some shit, some transaction between them, but
Right.
it's weird. I don't know how all that fell into place because I don't feel like Robert Hansen's like, oh yeah, I'm killing all these people, so I'm gonna fucking pay off this pizza guy and this and that. I think it
Right.
was just a matter of luck that these people either mistook the timing or whatever it was, but it was
Yeah.
working out in his favor.
Yeah, I
somehow.
think he got really lucky. I really do think he got lucky.
I saw that one of his friends or whatever that fucking gave him the alibi, like, didn't realize the extent of the charges against him. It was like, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah.
And they were going to charge him with perjury or whatever. Like, did you really do this? And he's like, wait, hold on. So he's like, he came back and he's like, no, I take that back. He was not around me or nothing.
Oh, okay. Huh. Now, he is, he's got these friends giving him alibis. He's very dorky. He's meek. So he's got everything pretty covered. But the women would describe him, very fucking creepy, slick back hair. He's got the pockmarked face, these big fucking dorky glasses. I mean, he's just really fucking creepy. And I did read a funny account. I think it was in this book, but the prostitute referred to him, said his dick was shaped funny. It was really short but big around.
Like a tuna can?
That was funny. Like a tuna can. Something like that. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny, just so random. Joey Hansen seems to get lucky, though, but I'm thinking his time is getting ready to run out.
Yeah, I mean, now he's fucking directly in their eye. They said that they already had him on the radar,
Right.
because of his previous crimes, for whatever reason, because we're talking mostly about all the homicides he did. It was Murder Mill Mayhem, of course, but
Right.
he double, triple, who knows how many times raped women or assaulted them. So the amount of women he killed was fucking dwarfed by the amount of women he actually fucking assaulted. So,
Oh, sure.
So they're looking at all that. Now, all those assaults and shit, the cops are getting some accounts every now and then. A lot of them go fucking unreported, of course.
Right.
Yeah, because they don't want to mess with the cops
Right, and they're
themselves.
prostitutes or whoever, but not all of them, and some of those accounts were given to the cops, and yeah, after a while, you fucking see the pattern.
Right.
And it's like, okay, this dude's a fucking menace. Do you realize that he's connected all these homicides at first? Probably not, but,
Right.
2 and 2.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating to look at this. Now, his luck is getting ready to run out because this detective is an absolute fucking beast. This
Yeah.
Glenn Floethy. I think they changed the name of him in the movie because that Floethy name is just really
Right.
hard to say. Sometimes it sounds funny with different words. He's with the Alaska State Troopers, part of this team investigating the bodies of women around Anchorage and Seward, Alaska. Floethy's very interested in serial killers, and he studied books on Bundy and others. I mean, he was all about it. Like with many of the cases we talk about, these missing women are strippers and prostitutes. They don't give a fuck. Many of them are transients, and that was very common in Anchorage. So
Definitely then, because like
Yeah.
you said, with the oil boom going on, everybody's
Right.
coming in, dudes at the bars and whatnot, and they're wanting to do what they want.
Right, exactly. Construction workers found one of the bodies on Eklunta Road. Some of these names of these
Is that what they
towns
call
is
the Eklunta Annie?
Eklunta Annie, right?
Yep.
The police referred to her as that because that's where they found her body.
But they never identified
Yeah,
who
they
she was.
never did identify her, which is sad. Another woman was found in a gravel pit in Seward, and a third body was found in a shallow grave near the Knik River. And that is the same river that runs by his hunting cabin.
Right.
So,
That's where he went like all the time was the Knik River.
Right.
A lot.
now, Chris, Detective Floethy believes the 3 bodies are the work of the same killer. So he is really picking up on this right from the get-go, that this is the same guy killing these women.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the same dude. Like, he believed. Damn it, I'm blanking out. The survivor girl's name or story, and he wanted to reopen the case.
Oh, Cindy Paulson.
Yeah, Cindy Paulson. That's it. Fucking. Because like, didn't they just close the case because she didn't want to take a lie detector test or some shit like that? So they fucking.
I think
So he just
that's
reopened
correct.
the fucking case. He wanted to reopen the case. Like, this chick knows something. She's got to fucking. I need to know.
Right.
So they go to the fucking goddamn FBI.
Yeah, they definitely take it to the FBI. They go right to John Douglas, who's the fucking mine hunter dude that whole thing is based on. He comes up with a profile that is unfucking believably accurate.
Like, stupid accurate.
He believes the killer would be a loner, an experienced hunter, rejected by women, also believed he would keep souvenirs, and he believed that he might have a fucking stutter. I mean, holy
stutter
shit.
or a lisp.
Yeah.
He's straight up, speech impediment for sure.
Yeah, that is unbelievable, Joey. I mean, how accurate those profiles are. I'm thinking that could be definitely its own episode. Is
Oh,
about
the
John
profile?
Douglas
Yeah.
and the whole profiling thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They come in and, I mean, the details they give, like, it's one thing to get a profile maybe of, like, a possible shape or vicinity where somebody might be, but the things that they come up with, especially him, you know,
Yeah.
like, fucking traits and
Yeah.
just...
Do you remember the
tics.
one that it was like the one that made profiling a thing was that one guy at the FBI, they couldn't find this bomber in Connecticut and it was baffling the police, so they bring this guy in. It was like in the 50s or
And
something.
he fucking came up with
He
exact...
came up with he would live with at least one adult sibling, a sister or an aunt. He would impeccable dresser, wore a certain kind of suit, like a double-breasted
Right.
suit, and something else. And it was exactly it. This dude lived with two aunts, and when he was arrested, he asked the cops to let him change into his better suit, and he came out with the fucking double-breasted suit on.
Fuck.
So the
outta here.
FBI was like, "Holy shit!" Yeah,
It's like what's his
we
name?
talked about it on. It's
What they
been a
did
long
with-
time
what
ago.
they did with John List, the bust for John
Yeah.
List too. Like
It's
the glasses,
unbelievable
like
how they can do
everything,
that
dude.
stuff.
Like, how the fuck, man?
The talent involved with these guys, unbelievable. But yeah, he's a fucking animal at the FBI, and he comes up with this profile. And of course, the detective Floathy thinks Hansen fits this. Of course,
I mean, to a T.
exactly, and he owns his own plane.
Yeah.
And with the profile and the last victim's description of Hansen, they get a warrant to search the plane, his vehicles, and his home. It took months for them to get the DA to do it, which is unbelievable, but they finally got it. Now, October of 83, the police find jewelry at the house that links him to the victims. They also find a cache of weapons hidden in the attic, and this is where, Chris, they found the weapon
They were
that they
able to
believe
match
that he
it.
used.
Yeah, that's what. Oh,
I saw you go, oh, I was like, what the hell? Something's wrong.
We'll put
poster
that up
just
better.
fell on
Yeah.
me here. in
That
the
was
Warsaw
CCK.
studio. That's all right. Yeah, CCK playing games on us. But
My
no,
bad, dude.
I got hit with the Reefer Madness posters. I guess there's worse things. I could have been hit by a
right, no
sledgehammer or
shit,
something.
goddamn. Yeah.
So anyway,
Remember,
that poster keeps falling off the wall. It's been a problem.
Remember Brian's daughter almost got killed by the sickle?
Oh, that's right.
That was
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
That's right. So 83, October 83, they find this shit in his house, the weapons in the attic. They find a flight map with X marks the spot on every fucking spot he put the bodies. And it
That's
was
fucked
hidden.
up, dude.
Pretty stupid. It's hidden behind the headboard of his bed, and his wife told the cops he was looking at it all the time, so they definitely knew he was interested in this thing. His friend, John Henning, would eventually crack and
Yeah,
say
okay,
lied
Yeah.
about
I
the
did-
alibi. I don't know if he ever got in trouble for that. Probably should have.
I mean,
that's
if-
pretty fucked up,
Like
man.
hiding a fucking prominent
Murder
serial
suspect.
killer.
Yeah. Should have got some time for that. And, you know, they knew that he was probably the one that abducted that girl, Cindy Paulson, in 83. Hansen's wife would claim, she knew he was up to something, but didn't think it was murder. Apparently, she had, like I said, a master's degree, so she was actually making some money tutoring and doing stuff like that, kids with learning disabilities. And she said, she used her own money to pay the bills and basically support the family. So I don't know what the fuck he was doing with all this bakery money,
buying airplanes
and prostitutes and
stealing chainsaws.
Well, he used the insurance scam money to buy the plane.
Oh, off the truck?
No, it was the trophies. They said he got robbed and they stole his hunting trophies.
Oh.
And he filed an insurance claim and got a bunch of money, and that's how he got the plane.
Maybe I'm thinking of something
because that was one of the things they busted him for.
And say, didn't he drive his truck off a fucking goddamn cliff or some shit? And
I think I heard something about him playing some shenanigans with a vehicle.
With a vehicle, or he said it got fucked up.
So that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. He denies the accusations, of course, but then eventually starts to crack, and he blames the women for what happened. He would confess to all the crimes where the evidence was found, and that he started doing it in 1971 with young girls, 16 to 19. These were not prostitutes, as we pointed out. Eventually, he would target prostitutes, and in the rougher parts of Anchorage where they were hanging out. And from the sound of it, pretty sleazy fucking place, a lot of crime, a lot of fucking drugs, prostitution, just bad shit going on. Chris, the cops find a lot of evidence when they search his home. They wind up finding, enough stuff to just bust this thing open, but they definitely need Cindy to help them to really nail his ass because she's the one that survived.
Yeah, they need her testimony for real. They got to work really hard on it. And the fact that she was able to, even remember the wing number on his airplane.
Yeah.
And she gave them that information and shit. Able to remember that, being through that situation, and remember what the house looked like inside. She was able to explain that when they searched his fucking house.
Yeah, they knew it was it.
Holy fuck! She was definitely fucking.
Yeah, she was very good at remembering the details. That's a good point.
So yeah, she was definitely a great witness. They had to have her.
Yeah, they really did. The police believe that Robert Hansen raped and assaulted at least 30 women in Alaska. The victim count was 17 murdered, but it could be higher given that 12 years he was out there doing it. And, there may be shit twice that many. Who knows, right? The victim's age ranged from 16 to 41. So,
fucking map, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 17 victims that Hansen denied, or some of the victims, I should say, that he denied being involved with, but their bodies were found with the X on the map. So you got to think.
That would be fucking, if there's one, maybe I could see, maybe.
Right.
Not even in that vast area, but.
Right.
His fucking, I can't remember what they call it, but whenever they took him out to show them where the bodies were.
Yeah.
That process or whatever was the most massive one in Alaskan history.
Oh, I'm sure, man. And I'm sure he loved every fucking second of that.
I think they said that he helped them locate 11 of them. Some were never recovered.
Right.
Some they considered were probably, taken
animals.
by animals. Right. But like you said, it was so fucking long too. Jesus, they found some of the bodies. I heard them talking about, this one been out there 3-4 months or whatever. And to me, I'm just like, God damn, how does a body even survive in the wilderness like that?
Well, they had to wait for the thaw too.
Yeah,
because it was too frozen.
Which
for them
had to be
look.
the only way. Otherwise, fucking, they had to have been fucking, eaten
quickly
by animals for sure.
Right. There were at least 2 victims that were confirmed that he hunted like wild game, but we know that there were more. He's charged with 4 of the murders as well as the abduction and rape of Cindy Paulson from 1983. He's also charged with kidnapping, several weapons charges, theft, and insurance fraud. And I looked up what the insurance fraud was. As I mentioned, it was some trophies that he claimed were stolen. He filed a claim against that. He used the money.
I do remember that one too. The hunting trophies.
Yeah, and he used that money to buy the plane, but then later he found the trophies in his yard.
Yeah, and never fucking paid the money back or what the fuck ever.
Forgot to tell him about it.
Yeah, I forgot.
So,
Oh, by the way, my trophies were here the whole goddamn time.
They
dude.
were
My
in the
bad.
yard. Yeah, I mean, really? So this guy's a fucking real winner. Detective Flothy keeps tabs on Cindy Paulson, which could not have been an easy task.
No.
As a drug addict, stripper, prostitute, I'm sure that would have been a handful to keep track of her fucking hoe ass. Now, Joey, this guy is a multitasker when it comes to crime. He has got a lot of fucking shit going on, man.
I mean, he's dealing with an underworld.
Insurance fraud.
Yeah, and
Klepto.
obviously constantly
Strippers.
somehow around scumbags, but also constantly around whoever he needs to deal with for his fucking bakery.
Yeah, business people on the customers he sees
And every
day.
now and then he
Cops,
says hi to his
there's
wife.
a bunch of cops.
Every
in there.
now and then he says hi to his.
No,
Sits the kids up on the lap.
Like you
know.
said, multitasking in Cuban. This guy fucking, he had it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the police confirm with ballistics testing that one of the guns recovered from the attic was used with the shell casings he left behind. So he was pretty sloppy with that stuff. He just figured they never were going to find these bodies, but I don't know how he thought that when he's got a map of it.
But
I mean,
why
that
would
was
you leave
dumb.
the shell casing with the body though?
I agree.
Like,
I don't know.
That don't make sense to me. Like,
Right.
Or if you just really, really never thought anybody was ever going to find it, so you didn't care.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah, did he just like when he shot him, he just like left them where they fell, or did he move
no,
them?
he dug holes. He had like a fold up fucking goddamn.
Like an entrenching
like
tool?
spade, yeah, basically
Okay.
that. Like I know some of them. I don't know about all of them, but a couple of them I know. He
Interesting.
dug shallow graves and put them. In there.
Okay.
Which maybe that makes more sense why some of them weren't as eaten or,
Right.
attacked
Right.
by nature.
So the police perform, the ballistics. They definitely link the weapon, so that's big. He decides to plea bargain in exchange for a life sentence in a federal prison. And also, I saw this. He didn't want any publicity in the press, but I don't know how the fuck you could get that. I mean,
Yeah.
how do they not?
I think the main thing was he wanted his family out of it, which. If I was his family, I'd be like, I don't even know this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm out, which is basically what they did, I
Right.
guess.
Well, I think that's why he wanted the federal prison just to get out of Alaska. He agrees to help the police find the bodies on the map. And you said, Joey, he shows them the 17 sites, but like you said, they didn't find all of them. Only
Right.
12 were found. So, the remains, of course, given to the families. I thought this was very interesting. One of the victims, Andrea Altieri,
I know.
with
I
a
heard,
Y at
yeah,
the end.
Altieri.
I was like, that's crazy, with the Y at the end instead of the I, like my name. So very strange
not
coincidence.
Italian.
Not familiar with that spelling of it, and not a relation of mine that I'm aware of. Chris, no surprise from Hansen. He wants to fucking avoid the death penalty, but he gets a little bit of a sentence. He gets a
like
few years.
461 of them.
Yeah,
It was
461
I
years.
just think it's fucked up how
With
they.
zero chance of parole.
Yeah,
Right.
zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is where
It's like,
you-
after 300 years, you're not going to parole me?
no,
That's bogus.
yeah, that's fucked up.
At least give me a chance.
But I think it's fucked up. These motherfuckers out here have no problems fucking hunting and killing the fucking motherfucker, another person. But as soon as you're on the fucking slab, it's like,
Right.
oh wait, hold
yeah,
on.
right.
That's because
Exactly.
he was infantile.
That's
Right,
true.
exactly.
That's true. Hansen said he was going to write down his story, and supposedly there were 2 publishers interested in it, but no books were ever published. And I don't know if the Son of Sam laws maybe were not in play in Alaska. I'm not sure. But I did see that about him claiming he was going to write his memoirs.
I get every fucking bit of the argument, and I don't know how it would go about, like, financially or anything like that, but in my life, I wish that more serial killers had been able to write their fucking story.
that would
in
have
their
been
own
amazing.
words. I would fucking...
I would read the shit out
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that would be great
Like, what
stuff.
is going through
yeah,
this
I mean, they could
motherfucker's
put
head?
it in a pot and give it to the victims.
Right.
Fuck. I mean, that'd be fascinating. That's why I want to read that Gates of Janus by fucking
that you
Ian.
just kept trying to order.
Yeah, I ordered it 3 times, and every time it never came, and I got reimbursed. It was the weirdest thing. That what was his name? Christie? Ian Christie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Moors murder.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote a book called Gates of Janus, which he analyzes other serial killers, which isn't quite the same, but it would be fucking cool to see it, though. I definitely want to get it.
Yeah.
Now, Hansen, I don't know whether he would have done that or not, but, he's adamant about not being in prison in Alaska. I'm wondering if it's for his safety or he just wanted to be away from his family, so they sent him to Pennsylvania. But after a few years, he told authorities he would give up some names of people that were accomplices in exchange for coming back to Alaska. I was a little confused here because those leads never panned out, but they still send him back to Alaska in '88. So I don't quite understand what the deal was with that. But he did most of his time in Alaska at the Spring Creek Correctional Center. That was in Seward, where some of the crimes were actually done. And then he's transferred to a medical facility in 2014 and dies soon after of some natural causes. So, his wife left Alaska, good for her, after she divorced his ass, sold the house and the bakery, moved to Arkansas where she had some family, of course, takes the kids with her. So I don't believe anybody's heard from any of them, which is good.
Yeah, fine. I hope they fucking moved out of Arkansas and changed their name when they're somewhere happy.
Right. There have been a couple of movies about Hansen, and the one that I think we've all watched, Frozen Ground, was actually very good. Came out in 2013 with John Cusack and Nicolas Cage. I was really kind of impressed with that, guys. I watched it with Jenny. I think it was Thursday or Friday. We thought it was really good, and I was surprised at how accurate it was to the facts. It was pretty... little dramatization, but nothing too bad.
A cool thing about that movie too, and they were talking about it in the fucking, the documentary making of it or whatever, but when you see that movie and then you consider the roles, you would think that Nicolas Cage and John Cusack's roles would be reversed.
That's what I
Nicolas
thought.
Cage would play the killer and Cusack would play the cop, and they said that's whenever they were approached about doing that movie, I don't know if it was Cusack. One of them was adamant about, no, I would rather do it this way.
Yeah.
And so that's why they switched
I
it.
like the way they did it. I just wish they
great.
would have had him stutter slightly because he
Right.
did not stutter at all.
And the other thing, too, is I always have a little bit of an issue, but it's whatever. It's Hollywood, so I know. But it's you got somebody like fucking Robert Hansen, and then you put John Cusack looking the way he does.
Right,
That's
of
not how
course.
Robert Hansen looked.
Right. They did a pretty good job, though, making him look kind
No,
of
they did.
sleazy.
The glasses
and
were
didn't
fucking
look
spot
good.
on.
Yeah,
It was
the
so good.
yeah.
Glasses were
But
spot on.
that's why I still give so much props to Charlize Theron for she deserved that fucking award
Monster?
for
Yeah,
what
that
she
was
did
amazing.
to transform herself into Eileen.
Yeah,
that-
I agree.
I appreciate
that was
that,
impressive. That was impressive. But yeah, I thought Cusack
No,
did
he
a really
played
good
it
job
well, yeah.
playing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just a great actor. So that I thought was really good. I did see there was a little bit of debate as to the facts about them ingratiating the girl, Cindy, into the house of the detective and his wife. Because in the movie, of course, they show them fighting about it and she leaves. Apparently, that was never a thing. She came, I think, to the house to eat supper, but there was never that she was going to stay there or anything like that. So there's a little bit of that, but nothing too bad. Cindy Paulson actually came forward for the first time, and that's where this all came about. She spoke to the actress that played her.
Yeah.
Who was that again?
Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah, that was really, she did a great job with that. And she also, revealed a lot of the story. So, I mean, they tried to capture that.
She said, because the director was like, I want you to meet, Cindy Paulson if you're going to play the role.
Right.
So Vanessa, she goes and, does. And she said that, after hanging out with her and listening to her and talking to her, she basically knew her whole story of her life, and got the full feel. So
yeah, that's really cool.
That's important, because then that person can be like, okay, you can have a little more faith that actor's going to go and do your story justice, than just if they take the story from everything that they're told.
Being a victim, you want somebody to portray your shit.
Oh yeah. Well, I told you guys about my Little League coach that was the Prince of the City movie. Prince of the City was about him. and he had Treat Williams, who was his first role. And Treat Williams lived with him for like 6 months
Yeah.
to get the mannerisms and stuff down. And he was one of the Little League coaches. So Treat Williams would come to practice and stuff. He was really nice. But nobody knew who he was because he
Right.
was unknown at the time. But anyway,
that's how I
a
feel.
lot of times they do that. They really get into those roles.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
I mean, and I'll just say, Fear and Loathing, that's why Johnny Depp playing Hunter S. Thompson, why he was so perfect, because he went and hung out with that fucking guy
Right.
and was like, I want to fucking be you, so I'm going to be around you.
Right.
So, yeah, it's always cool and everything.
Yeah, I think it was, very well done, well worth watching. The Frozen Ground, if you want to check that one out about Hansen. Unfortunately, though, Cindy left, the Anchorage area. She still remained in prostitution, drugs. She eventually gets married. She does have 3 kids, so I think she eventually gets her life together, but she definitely went through some rocky times. There is another movie called Naked Fear, which was out in 2007, but it's one of those loosely based stories, so I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I did see that it was available, but I'm not, I didn't watch it or anything. My research was done with, a few different documentaries I watched. I was definitely interested to hear Dan Cummins' podcast again. I'd heard it before on Time Suck. He does a great job. He did one on Hansen. The book Butcher Baker, as I mentioned, William Gilmore and Leland Hale, very good. The parts that I read. There's definitely some stuff out there about him if you want to learn more about Hansen. But Chris, Joey, anything you guys want to add to this story?
I'm good.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good doing Hansen.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we covered it well. And next week we're going to be off for Thanksgiving, but we've got a bonus episode. I'm going to do an audio version, the complete story of The Last Supper, which Joey, you've read.
Yep.
And CK liked that one too. So that will be one that I'll do a reading of the whole thing.
Perfect for Thanksgiving.
Perfect for Thanksgiving, because that's what it has to do with a family where everybody at the table wants somebody at the table to die. And it's their last Thanksgiving supper together.
You ever fucking had a family Thanksgiving? Everybody wants somebody in the family
this is
to
quite
die.
literal, yes. So yeah, it's kind of like that times 100 with these guys. Gruesome story, and so since it is a Thanksgiving themed story, I thought what better time to unveil it than on Thanksgiving. So that will be out on Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is Thursday, but maybe we'll do it a day early for you. So we'll see. We'll see.
Thanksgiving
Pre-Thanksgiving, that's right. So you can listen to it once and then let your grandma hear it on Thanksgiving when you're eating turkey.
Right.
So anyway, guys, we've done our fair share of murder tonight. I hear that familiar music. CK throwing butcher knives from the top second story of Wildman Street, ready to throw down some metal knowledge. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
It's fucking freezing, so let's get our metal on.
Known the world over as the master of metal, the crusher of posers, and Murder Metal Mayhem's knower of all things metal, hailing from Wildman Street in Danbury, Connecticut, standing at 6 feet of brutal, punishing madness, weighing in at 220 pounds of poser pulverization, the one, the only, toughest bastard on the planet, Chris C.K. Kovacs!
Fuck yeah, great metal motherfucker. What's up?
CK?
What's up? Hey, we're doing it Tuesday. That means doing some Murder Metal Mayhem. Of course, we're in the metal segment now. You've been bad today, CK. You've been throwing butcher knives at people, not giving you the horns.
Yeah, I mean, just because they're not giving you the horns don't mean you got to go on a murderous knife stabbing spree.
That's right. Where are you getting all these knives? Last week it was hammers. Joey, the week before that it was spears or something. I mean,
he had fucking ninja stars at some point.
Ninja stars, yeah. So CK, you're getting crazy over there, man.
I'm just a crazy fucking guy.
I guess. Stay away from Wildman Street, for God's sake.
He's this wild man and crazy guy.
Tell you the truth, I don't think I could fucking pick up a knife right now.
I know, CK. You've been through a lot, brother, and that's why I'm having some fun with you and making you sound like you're just a raving madman over there when we all know you got a lot on your plate. And glad to see that your tumor markers are down.
Yeah,
so that's great.
Found out last week it went down 150 points.
That's amazing,
awesome,
dude.
Man.
So,
yeah.
See what happens next time. Hopefully the trend will continue.
Yeah.
And if people are wondering why my voice is sounding the way it does, it's unfortunately a side effect of my chemo medication.
Yeah.
So, this is what I got to deal with right now.
Yeah,
Hey, man,
I was
so-
giving you
At
shit
least you're
about that
talking.
the other day when we were talking. I said that you've been imitating the weepy voice too much. It fucked up your voice.
Oh, I fucked up my voice. The weepy voice killed us and all of us.
So it's you're always a good sport, CK, and so you're going to throw down. I mentioned before the murder segment, we played a little bit of that harlot, and I was saying, man, CK fucking killing me with these suggestions. So
I know, right?
I know you've been amazing with this. Now, this band, of course, I know it's a very old school band. Anxious to hear because I don't know anything about them. So who you got for us this time, brother?
It's an old school metal band that they're actually still doing stuff today in a different form, with different members for the most part. But the band is Omen, formed in 1983 after Kenny Powell, the guitarist. He used to be the guitarist in Savage Grace. I think I did a Lost Classic on that,
I think you did.
if I'm not mistaken. I think I did it on the first album. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did. He formed Omen after he left Savage Grace. He formed it with the classic lineup of this band was actually around for a couple years, and this is the lineup that produced all the killer albums. And it was J.D. Kimball on vocals, Kenny Powell on guitars, Steve Wittig on drums, and Jody Henry on bass. The first album was Battle Cry, and to tell you the truth, I didn't even know they put out this album at the time, and I didn't really get into them until their second album. But
Well, you know,
Battle
that's
Cry-
where I got the idea for the name of that song I wrote back in my former band.
Well,
you know?
I always thought that. I always
They
had
were
to
one
ask
of
you
the
that.
early bands. Omen was one of those early bands I got when I first started getting into the underground metal in the 80s. And I remember buying that album, Battle Cry. And I don't know if is there a song they have called Battle Cry?
I can't
There's a
remember
video
if-
game.
Okay. But I wrote a
think there
song.
is.
I wrote a song called Battle Cry. I wasn't, like ripping them off. I just liked the sound of that name. It just kind of sounded like a song I wanted to write. So that's funny that you brought that up.
They did do a song called Battle Cry.
Okay.
But to tell you the truth, this wasn't the first album I bought. The album's a great U.S. power metal album, and I'm gonna quickly and briefly. I keep on saying power metal. I just want to distinguish between U.S. power metal and European power metal.
Okay.
U.S. power metal was back in the 80s. It was not quite thrash and not quite classic metal. It was a little bit faster. The riffs were a little bit harder. As opposed to European power metal is more of the soaring, high-pitched vocals, and there's a lot of keyboard and symphonic influence in European power metal.
All right, that's an important distinction because I never looked at it that way, but yeah, I can definitely hear a difference there.
But I've always meant to make a difference between U.S. and European power metal, and Savage Grace was considered U.S. power metal, and one of the first bands to do it, along with Liege Lord and Fate's Warning, who later got to tag progressive metal.
Right.
Now, the album that I got into was Warning of Danger. I'm going to tell you how and why I bought this album. I already bought Fate's Warning, Spectre Within, because these albums came out the same year. I remember Metal Blade having an ad in the magazine. I forget which magazine, but it had Fate's Warning and Omen in the same ad, saying 2 great releases from American label Metal Blade, or something along those lines.
Right.
So obviously, I associate Fate's Warning with Omen. I had to go buy Omen.
Right.
And I love that album. As soon as I put Warning of Danger on, I was totally hooked. And if you remember back in the day, you made tapes and you got like a 45 or a 90-minute TDK or Maxell, whatever tape you got.
Right.
And you put an album on each side. And for that one, I distinctly remember having Fate's Warning on side A and Omen on side B.
Nice.
And unfortunately, Fate's Warning was over 45 minutes, so like the last minute of Epitaph on the
you
fade
cut it
out
off?
Was not on
got cut off.
Oh, that sucks.
But I used
Such
to
a
play
great
this
end
tape.
of a song, too.
I know.
Did you ever do that where you like have one album on one side of the tape, and then you put another album on
Continue
the other
it.
side of the tape?
Yeah,
But
I
then you
get
get
that.
sick of the other album, but you want to listen to the album on the one side, so you got to rewind the whole motherfucker.
Yeah,
like,
that
God
sucks.
damn it, I want to hear that again. Shit.
But I used to
we
have
old.
a piece.
Right.
Yeah, we are old talking about tapes. People probably know what the fuck they are.
Right.
I remember playing it in my piece of shit Zephyr with the Pioneer stereo, and you had to reverse, so it would play one side, then automatically play the other side right after
right.
it. I remember I constantly played this tape all the time for like weeks, and wouldn't take it out. And yeah, I was just hooked on the Curse. It was just a great album. I mean, on Warning of Danger. Now, 86, they produced The Curse. So this is the third album in a row that they put out within 3 years. Still the same lineup. J.D. Kimball, his vocals fit Omen perfectly. To me, it was a perfect match. The Curse was an album that was it was power metal, but they got a little bit more progressive, a little bit longer songs, a little bit more heavier. The album did really well. It was one of the first albums Metal Blade put out after the deal with Capitol Records, after they got the distribution deal with Capitol. So it did really well. Unfortunately, the last album they did with J.D. Kimball was a Nightmares EP. Consisted of 6 songs, great EP. They did a killer version of Whole Lotta Rosie by AC/DC. And unfortunately, after that, J.D. Kimball left the band. Not sure why. And they got a vocalist named Coben Farr. And they put out Escape to Nowhere. And, you know, usually happens you put out 3 great albums, a great EP, and you have a clunker. And this is no different.
Yeah.
Escape to Nowhere just had no feeling to it. Coben Farr did not fit the band. Not that he was a terrible vocalist, but to me, he just did not fit. He just not fit what they were doing. The album did not do that well. He only lasted on one album with them. After that album, they broke up, and Coben Farr went on to front Annihilator, a band I'm not that fond of, but a lot of people dig them.
Right.
This guy loves them.
He said, "This guy loves it."
Yeah, I just can't get into them. I had a couple albums, but
Yeah. I think for me, it's just their riffs, because I've never been a huge fan of like the high-pitched vocals or the power vocals myself. So only a few bands kind of fell on that for me. So I think it's just their riffs that really got me.
Right.
yeah, I mean Jeff Waters is a good guitarist, but
Yeah.
they just never did anything for me for some reason.
Right.
1988, they reformed without J.D. Kimball. Pretty much, I believe it's a whole new band as far as. In '97 they reformed with pretty much a whole new band. Kenny Powell was the only remaining original member. They had Greg Powell on vocals. I have no clue if he was related or not. This dude Andy Haas on bass and Rick Murray on drums. And they put out a really good album, Reopening the Gates. And I could have saw that album actually coming out right after The Curse. A really good comeback album at the time. I dug it. And 2003, which unfortunately was the same year that J.D. Kimball passed away. And for some reason, I got him mixed up with somebody else on how he died. I thought he died from a carjacking, but that was actually Rhett Forrester from Riot. I get those two mixed up for some reason.
Huh.
But J.D. Kimball died from cancer in 2003.
Oh, wow.
So obviously you would never see a reunion with him with an Omen. But they did put out another killer album, Eternal Black Dawn. Again with a different singer, a singer named Kevin Gucher. Another great album.
I was just
Yeah,
going
the
to
Gooch.
say, get him right in the gooch.
I was thinking that. It was a really good album. The Gooch did a good job.
Hey,
And, they took a hiatus, and again, they put it in 2016. Kenny Powell reformed again and put out Hammer Damage with a different singer. The singer, I can't remember who it was. But another great album. And as far as I know, Kenny Powell still has the band. Nothing lately from him, but a great band to check out. Put out some quality stuff in the 80s. Their stuff is available on CD, and you could definitely stream it on Apple Music, YouTube,
right.
aka Google Play.
Right.
But definitely check out Omen if you're into
That's cool.
traditional U.S. power metal. It's all good stuff.
That's awesome, man.
I played NYDM Spring Bash 2017 in Milwaukee, and they were the headliners for one of the days that we were there.
Yeah, me
Chris
too,
went
yeah.
with
Oh,
me.
really?
Yeah.
Where were they from again, CK?
California.
California.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Very cool. Well, you got a lost classic for us again, CK. This is a good one.
It's actually somebody who's put out a couple solo albums, is a prominent singer in a metal band that I love, that most people love.
And he flies planes, too, doesn't he?
Yes,
He
he
flies
does.
planes.
Yes, he does.
He's a professor, professional fencer. He's got a PhD. He's Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
He's put out six solo albums, but for some reason, a lot of them didn't gain the attention they should have, and especially this one, which was he put out in 2000 or 19. It might have been the year 2000. Chemical Wedding. It was the second album that he had. The first being Accidental at Birth, that he had Adrian from Iron Maiden back with him as his guitarist. And this album is friggin' heavy. It's a great album. It's kind of a concept album, but they said that when they recorded this album, it was so heavy the tape machines were just shutting off from the vibration.
That's fucked up, dude.
That's how heavy they were playing.
That's a fucking pretty fucking heavy. If you could fucking say that and mean it, goddamn.
They said that it was like 5 or 6 times the tape machine just shut off.
Wow.
But it's still available on CD. I think it's a deluxe edition. All stuff is available on deluxe editions at this time. Yeah, check it out.
That's cool, man. I definitely might want to check that out. It's been a while since I've heard it. Awesome, man. Well, it's that time of the metal segment, guys, where we go around the horn and talk about what we've been jamming to. But first of all,
6 fucking 6.
Here we go. Love that shit. Some fucking Onslaught. Thanks to those guys letting us use that 6 fucking 6 song. And going around the horn here, Chris, what have you been listening to over there at Shawback Nation?
Me personally, like I've been listening to Honky Tonk Hustlers. You don't know who they are.
I don't know
at
what
all.
that is. No.
Nope, it's country music. It's
That's
fucking,
all right.
It's like Hank 3.
Okay.
I fucking love Hank 3, and Honky Tonk Hustlers are right there with it, and I fucking love it.
That's cool. All right.
Fucking love it.
That's all right. Joey, what about you, man?
I've been listening to that new Macabre album.
Yeah,
since
he
I
got that.
How
in.
is that?
I fucking love it. Great fucking album.
I've only heard a couple of songs from it, but I haven't heard the whole thing.
Yeah, which we're playing one today, which is
That's
cool.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But also in the car right now, I put in Aborted Gormageddon, the Saw and the Carnage Done.
Nice.
Aborted, such a good band. I got to see them live last year, near the end of the year, so that was cool.
That's cool. CK, what about you, man?
New Fate's Warning still,
Yeah.
and to make it like a 180 turn, the new AC/DC, which I'm loving.
I haven't heard that yet. Is it good?
And I like it. I like it a lot.
I've heard a lot of people like it.
It's kind of like probably what we need right now. It's just a simple AC/DC album at this time.
Right.
Just to kick people in the ass. And the new Harlot.
Oh, I love the new Harlot. I've been listening to the shit out of that. Amazing stuff. It's called Detritus of the Final Age on Metal Blade. It's fucking unbelievable. I have been jamming the living shit out of that and the one before it. And the new Fates Warning. I love that one too. That's just such a... I mean, it's 78 minutes of music, so there's a lot to fucking bite on with that. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So really good shit. And so it's always interesting to hear what each other has been listening to. And I always sprinkle in some podcasts in there too, trying to get caught up with Murder Metal Mayhem business. So, all right. Well, CK, any other metal news, releases, anything we want to bring up before we move on?
Nothing that we already haven't discussed in the last couple weeks.
All right.
Still nothing new.
All right, CK, then what the fuck do we need to do?
I did
Good,
see some. Hold on. real
What's
quick.
that?
Oh, go.
I did see some shit about the kids from members of Metallica and like.
Oh no, it's
suicidal-
from it's Robert Trujillo's kid,
Right, which she
Scott Whelan's kid, and Slash's kid.
and Slash's
wow.
kid like getting
They
together
did
and
something?
doing some shit. Yeah,
Oh, that's
They have
cool.
a band, yeah.
That's cool.
kind of got me curious.
Yeah,
And the
that's
funny
interesting.
thing is, Slash's kid doesn't even play guitar; he plays drums.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Interesting. All right, CK. Well, with that in mind, what the fuck do we need to do?
Man,
Hear them screaming for vengeance and for peace. While the moon is full, I'm burning bright. Comes a strange
Hansen's Alaskan hunting trip. Can I help you?
hell yeah! I saw your ad in Bow Hunter magazine. Who was interested in booking a trip.
Well, we are running a December special. If you're interested in our prostitution hunting extravaganza, we let out a group of 6 prostitutes loose in the woods, and you have an hour to kill as many as possible from a tree stand.
What? Did you say prostitutes? What the hell?
Yep, and they're fun to hunt, and we find the most hardy whores possible to make your hunting experience the best ever.
That's just fucked up. I don't think so.
Oh, wow. Some Hansen fucking Alaskan hunting trips commercial. Gotta love that. Chris, Strawback.
We failed to
and
mention you
CK.
get some free biscuits, too.
The Hardy Whores. Yeah, that one cracks me up. Oh, that's good stuff. And before that was Omen, the Curse. So CK educating us on some metal there in the metal segment. And now, gentlemen, we are in Mayhem, and I know a couple of us got some stories to tell. So who's going first here?
Like I said, I'll go first real quick.
All right,
It'll be
go
real
ahead,
quick.
Chris.
So fucking Sunday, we're hanging out, watching football, whatnot. My youngest daughter's there. We're hanging out, and she comes up to me, and she's like, "Hey, Dad." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Let me see your hand." So I was like, "All right, cool." So she draws a heart on my middle finger, but she drew it like upside down to where if you flip somebody off, that's how you see the heart.
Oh, okay.
So I got it tattooed on my finger.
Like, really?
Like for real tattooed on my finger.
Who the fuck did it?
Pete.
You weren't drunk when you were doing that,
I
right?
mean, I had been drinking a little bit, but I wasn't like wasted.
Okay.
But no, I did it on purpose. But yeah, my daughter drew a heart and a Sharpie on my finger, and I got it tattooed.
Okay.
It's there forever
It's
now.
there
There you
forever
go.
now.
All right. Is that your?
That was it. Like I
All
said,
right,
it's
that's
just a
good
short
one,
little
though.
guy.
That's a good
It's like, fuck it, let's tattoo this bitch on.
And CK, you've got a story to tell about a package that Joey sent you, apparently. So what's the story here?
Okay, Joey sent me this new split. October 24th.
Oh my God!
Okay, now here's the tracking for it. This is how fucked up it is. Left Bloomington, Illinois on the 24th. Got to Memphis, Tennessee on the 27th. Left Memphis, Tennessee on the 28th. Got to Jersey City, New Jersey on the 29th.
Right?
Pretty close to you.
Left New Jersey, Jersey City, New Jersey on the 2nd.
Oh my God!
Got to White Plains, New York on the 2nd.
Okay.
Got to Stamford, Connecticut on the 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
Arrived and departed White Plains, New York again on the 4th.
Okay.
Went back to Stamford, Connecticut on the 5th.
Oh my
Jesus
God!
Christ, dude. It's like a game of tennis.
On the 7th, went to Jersey City again.
Oh my God!
Back to White Plains on the 8th.
Jesus Christ!
Left White Plains on the 10th.
They were
Got to
jamming in a White
Stanford.
Plains.
Wait.
Somebody at White Plains is like it's some gourmand, I'm thinking.
Got to Stamford on the 10th. Left Stamford on the 10th. Got to Kearney, New Jersey on the 11th.
Jesus Christ.
Kearney, New Jersey. What the fuck?
Departed Kearney, New Jersey on the 12th. Got to White Plains, New York on the 12th.
Oh my God, dude.
And finally on the 13th, I received
There
it.
you go.
Jesus.
Christ.
Did somebody look at that and go, what in the hell is going on? Like somebody's just fucking with you. Wow.
I can't. I thought for sure like it had taken a fucking
Got
trip
lost.
to the West Coast is what I thought.
Right.
That's what I
Somehow
thought.
ended up in Vegas or something like
But
that.
no,
you
it's
know.
just ping
It
pong
was
back
just
and
right
forth.
there in the
Wow.
fucking.
White Plains,
Yeah.
Jersey City, White Plains, Stanford, back to White
Like
Plains.
none of those
Oh,
areas
God.
are that far apart.
No.
So it's just like, God
No.
damn, get it
bizarre.
right. Put it in the right fucking bin.
You had one job.
Jesus Christ.
That is
man.
so funny. Wow. Well, that's an interesting story. Reminds me of back in the day when you ordered shit. It was allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
Right,
Yeah.
like, wait,
now we
what?
don't get it in 2 days and we
Yeah.
freak
We're
the
like,
fuck out.
motherfucker, where's my shit?
What the fuck?
And you didn't get tracking those things.
No.
Of course. No.
If it was gone, it was gone. Like,
Yeah.
I sent it.
Yeah, I remember ordering tapes from the underground and getting them like fucking 3 months later, and I'm stoked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, fuck yeah, just got this.
It was
Came
so
fast.
cool. It was so cool. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, that was good. Always fun
God
and
damn, that's-
mayhem to tell some tales, and so that's interesting.
Yeah, what you got, Cashman? Didn't you say you had a story?
Oh no, I'm gonna save it.
Oh, you're
You're
gonna save
gonna
it?
save it.
All right, cool.
All right, well, tonight, guys, we got another killer cage match to get to. We got a few listeners.
Hold on, I'm just gonna foreshadow for any of our regular listeners.
Yeah.
If anyone heard my tale about my fucked up neighbor, which a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
they could relate
That's
to
a
that.
good one.
I've got one about like where I work, a fucked up
fucked up
customer. No,
Oh,
she's
customer.
a customer. Yeah, she's not a
Oh,
coworker.
okay.
She's a customer, and that's how fucking ridiculous that this is. That she's
Oh, wow.
this prominent in a fucking situation.
In the
Wow.
retail situation.
So
right.
we call her Neck Tattoo. So I'm gonna tell the
Okay.
story of Neck Tattoo eventually soon. So.
All right,
that.
very cool.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing that. Killer cage match, though. We got a few listeners to thank. Chris, who's
Yes, sir. We got Mr. Wesley Hudo, we got Rebecca Chevy, and we got Charlie Dickerson once again giving them numbers out, fucking kicking it up, listening to shit. Hell yeah.
awesome. It's nice to get the listeners' participation because we came up with a list of 70 killers, 70 objects for them to fight with in a cage to the death. And so the listeners give us the random numbers, and then they just pick who we're going to fight. And, Joe, we got a good one tonight.
Yeah, the candy man from Texas, Dean Coral.
You know it.
He
Used to-
loved kids.
Loved
them.
kids.
And fucking
Nice with the candy, though.
Yeah,
Handing candy
Sweet
out.
van.
and then
Yeah.
the Texan,
Literally.
he's going to be battling our Illinois guy right here,
You know it.
Richard Speck, who made fucking prison titty videos so popular.
Doing lines of coke in prison with
Yeah.
fucking.
Doing the Land of Lincoln with fucking proper here. The
God
big
damn.
old fucking titties in prison. Richard Speck.
Just insane. Which, yeah, I mean, his titties in prison's crazy, but the dude did kill a fucking shitload of nurses.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
so-
Pretty fucked up. So we got Dean Coral, Richard Speck going at it tonight in a cage and CK. They got a couple of objects here that are going to be interesting with this crowd.
And they are a string of anal beads, a cast iron skillet,
Oh, man.
and the variable. This is good.
Yeah.
This is a really good one.
This is Jim Leahy after a fifth of rye.
Nice. Jim Leahy after a fifth of rye in the cage with them. Dean Coral, Richard Speck, and they're fighting with a string of anal beads and a cast iron skillet.
Oh, man.
Chris Shawback, what's your take on this?
Hold on, real fast.
Joe?
I'm going to show you this, Pete, because none of our listeners can fucking see this, but I don't care.
Right.
But look at this picture I drew, just because we were talking about the anal beads.
Oh, wow, okay.
But for my buddy's band down the East Coast, PC, I drew a lady,
lady.
on her hands and knees, and the anal beads are getting ripped through her mouth, coming out of her ass as three guys just pulverize her through her body with anal beads.
Okay.
So, just in light of that, once you brought this up as,
Okay.
as one of our weapons, I was like, those are brutal.
That's
Yeah,
brutal as
could
shit.
be brutal.
That sounds like the new Spinal Tap album.
Nice.
Smell the glove, too.
That's right. Smell the glove, too. So, Chris, what do you think about this one, dude?
Oh, man. This one in general, I feel like. Man, Jim Leahy's got the army of the shithawks, man. like the shithawks, bro.
I mean, physically, Dean Coral and Richard Speck. I mean, anybody think that one's got an advantage?
I don't
just
really
physical?
think the one's got an. I think Dean Coral might be a little bigger than fucking Speck.
I think Dean Coral might have a little more fucking anger in him.
Right, and more veracity fucking
Yeah.
like about it. Because Speck, like, he just like locked these fucking girls in their fucking own apartment.
Dude, it's hard
poor
to
girls.
understand because we talk about these guys in their prime.
Right.
So
Right.
Richard Speck in his prime, when he was killing them nurses, it's
Yeah.
hard to see what he was because we've already been just fucking ruined by the prison videos.
Right,
Now when
right.
you say Richard Speck, you're seeing that.
You're laughing at it.
And it's
yeah.
like, no, that dude's getting fucking fucked up in the pit
Yeah.
here.
But you, even if you go back and look at his fucking pictures, like his mug shots before
Yeah.
all that, when he
Right.
got busted and all that, like, he wasn't a small dude.
No.
Right. Yeah,
But
it'd be I
Dean
think it'd be
Coral-
almost a toss-up physically.
Dean Coral, physically, I think Dean Coral would take him because he like fucking physically put people in his van, literally.
Yeah, and he was dealing with
did,
guys
like,
too,
constantly,
You know,
constantly.
not women like Speck.
I'm taking Richard Speck
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I think
because one Jim Leahy, he's just gonna be in the fucking corner drunk, going, the shitstorm's coming.
where's you at, Randy Bobandy?
The shitstorm might be coming, Joey, with those fucking anal beads, man. I don't
Right,
know.
dude.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if Dean Coral gets
It's
them
all-
anal beads
dude,
up
it's
inside
game
Speck and starts
over.
pulverizing,
like starting a chainsaw, bro.
I mean, I'm with CK. I think Jim Leahy is just in the corner, fucking just
Right.
talking
Just
fucking
drunk.
But
nonsense.
man,
and
if
shit.
one of those
Yeah.
two gets a hold of that cast iron skillet, man,
That's
it's
no
lights
fucking
out.
joke.
No,
Yeah,
that shit would hurt.
it wouldn't matter which one of them got a
Be
hold of it.
caving
The one
your
who
head
got
in,
it, yeah,
man.
they're coming at you.
I think Richard Speck is gonna take his man titties and beat Coral over the head. Then he'll take the skillet and just bash him over the head, and it's done.
Okay.
Now, Dean Coral, he's such a fucking dickhead, too, and he was all about that fucking sadistic shit, that if he fucking grabbed up Richard Speck, he ripped them titties right off his fucking body and throw
He
them
might.
in that frying pan.
He might.
fucking cook them up. Then he'll have something to eat.
And hopefully Dean Coral doesn't have access to one of those boards where he would nail their fucking dicks
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
board and all that shit. So
I'm going with Coral.
Richard Speck might have been stoked to lose his dick, though.
yeah,
He actually
possibly.
might
He's
have.
like, thank you for that. That
Right.
was
I
pretty
appreciate
nice
it.
of
I
you.
couldn't do it myself.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a toss up with me. I'm
going with
gonna
Coral.
lean on Richard Speck myself, but I don't know, man. I think whichever one of the two of them gets to that iron skillet first, I think that's going to be the end. So
I'm going with Coral with the anal beads, stealing the rest of Leahy's liquor.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, I'm going to give a little bit of an update on how things are going with the writing of Creation of Chaos 3. Everybody that's commented about that, I appreciate it. Writing is going well. So far, I've completed 5 short stories: The Creep, The Last Supper, The 666 Express, The Eyes Have It, and just yesterday I finished A Single White Rose. CK, you got to read that one. It's originally was called Someone Else's Blood, but I changed it. You said that you liked it. It's a little different type of story than some of the other ones I've done. So
Yeah, it's a little twist.
cool. That's what I was definitely going for. Joey and Chris have not read it yet. So they're, I want to leave the surprise to them and the listeners checking this out. So when you get the book, you'll be surprised. But I'm currently working on my own version of H.P. Lovecraft's The Thing on the Doorstep. I've been pretty excited about this one. It's going to be a challenge because I do like that story and I don't want to just redo Lovecraft because why? I mean, it's Lovecraft. But I have an idea on a simplification of the story and modernizing it. So I'm going to try something I've never done before. Now, when I redid my own take of The Telltale Heart with The Eyes Have It, that one I radically changed and used The Telltale Heart just in little parts. But this is going to be different because I'm retelling the story as he told it, but my own way and a simpler version of it. So I'm very excited about doing it. It's something I've never done before. And also, I spoke with artist Brian Usual last week. It's been a while since we talked. And he's going to do the Creation of Chaos 3 cover. So that's cool. Brian has done my book covers. Joey did the last one. I had Brian was dealing with some sort of major issue at his house. I can't remember if it was a sewer issue where they had to dig the yard up. It was pretty crazy. And Joey was thankfully available and did an awesome job with the Creation of Chaos 2 cover.
Since you're working with him now, you know it wasn't a Dennis Nilsson case.
Right, that's true.
With his yard and his sewage.
That's right. That's right. He wasn't burning tires in the yard. Speaking of Dennis Nilsson, have you seen that new trilogy, Des?
No.
Yeah, we started watching it. I watched the first 2 parts. It's very good.
Nice.
It's about Nilsson.
Yeah, it's dead
I
on
haven't
about
even
it. It's
heard it.
like
I
a
haven't-
docu-series. It's 3
Right.
parts. It's on you can go on Prime, but you have to do a 7-day subscription to the one of the damn
Like
the
HBO
film
or some
festival.
shit like that. Sundance?
Yeah, the Sundance
Sundance.
channel. Yeah, 7-day free trial, and you can watch it. It's DES, Des, It's 3 parts. We watched the first 2. It's really good. The actor that plays him is crazy how much he looks like him. And it's all British, so it's very realistic with the accents and all that stuff. And they have a guy with the Scottish accent playing Nilsson, so he nails it. It's really good. Definitely worth checking out. So last week we played a 5-minute clip of my short story, The Jesus Tree. This week I read a part of my short story, October House, that was in Creation of Chaos 2. And this one will get a facelift in Creation of Chaos 3, and I'm going to add an alternate ending to it. I'm also going to do Creation of Chaos 1. I've decided I'm going to do a remake of Carnival of Atonement with an alternate ending, so that should be fun. Now, just a quick setup, because this is a 13-minute clip, but it's in the middle of the story. The story is set in the 1700s in New Fairfield, Connecticut. There's a smallpox outbreak in the town. So the town doctor is using his home to quarantine patients, which was a practice back then.
Come bring all your shit to my house.
Yeah,
dude.
well, they usually lived out on the outskirts of town, so they got the people away from the rest.
Right.
But, of course, the outbreak goes south, and there's a lot more patients than they figured. And the problem is it's dead of winter, so they have nowhere to put the bodies. They can't bury them, so they have to make a morgue in the house. It's pretty fucked up. This is a 13-minute piece, definitely gruesome. I'm sure you guys will dig it. So check out The October House. October House, written by Pete Altieri, narrated by Pete Altieri. An excerpt, part 4. It was fall of 1793 when the true descent of Dr. Reginald Philip Barton began. He continued to tend to his patients, and nothing changed with his distant relationship with Laura and the children. She began to accept this situation as her new reality and hoped soon that the patients would start to slow down and the Barton family would finally begin to enjoy their beautiful home. He spent much of that summer reading books he purchased about the pandemic, the Black Death, that crippled Europe and Asia in the 1300s, taking nearly 200 million lives. Dr. Barton hoped to find some link to the smallpox outbreak in Connecticut. To say he was obsessed about the subject was putting it lightly. He was completely immersed in it, and he spoke of it to whomever would listen. Nicholas was the only one the doctor usually talked to. He began to implement the traditions and practices of the plague doctors who treated those afflicted with the Black Death. Dr. Barton began to wear a long brown waxed fabric coat and a beaked mask with a glass eye openings. He stuffed the beak with herbs, straw, and spices to help hide the stench of death, just as the old plague doctors did. He also carried a walking stick to examine the sickest patients from afar to avoid getting sick himself. Despite his hard work and dedication to caring for the patients, Dr. Barton began to obsess about getting smallpox himself. He had lost one of his nurses to the dreaded disease in May of that year and one young housekeeper the following September. Dr. Barton did his rounds and spent much of the day in the plague doctor costume, and it was an extremely eerie appearance to everyone around him. Selma, the family dog, took one look at her master in the mask and ran away, never to return. Many of the patients who were lucid enough to engage with him told the nurses he frightened them in the hideous beaked mask he wore. It was dark black and highly polished. The candle-lit room gave it a flame-like glow. His blue eyes peering from the glass openings were searing and penetrating, forcing anyone staring directly at him to look away. Just the sound of his bone-white walking stick on the wood floors echoed throughout the house and was a harbinger of a doctor who was beginning to lose his mind. The patients learned to hate hearing that stick on the wood floors. Reginald Jr. told Laura he felt Nicholas was not acting right. He noticed that the Italian laborer was spending more time with his father, assisting him in his new plague doctor role. He was spouting many of the things that Dr. Barton would say about the Black Death and plagues. Nicholas began to wear a small plastic mask on his face that covered his nose and mouth, with small holes drilled to breathe. Dr. Barton had made it for him, and he asked him to act more like his assistant than a maintenance man. Nicholas wore it when he was around the bodies, and he worked from early morning to past midnight, as if in a competition with his boss. He also wore an overcoat like Dr. Barton, and the two looked like some sort of diabolical duo. Laura had observed the same odd behavior from Nicholas, but she was overwhelmed with her husband's obvious mental deterioration. The plague doctor costume scared her terribly, and Lily would run away if she saw her father wearing it. Thankfully, he was spending less time with the family, so Laura was able to keep the children away from him most days. When Dr. Barton did come to the guest house to see his family, he continued to wear the plague doctor wardrobe, including the hideous beaked black mask. Even the older children were upset seeing him like that, and it didn't help matters that his voice sounded different in some way. When they saw his eyes behind the glass lenses of the mask, they were distant and not engaging as they once were. Laura begged him to take the heavy coat and mask off, which he did up until Christmas of 1793. And after that, no one saw him alive again outside of his plague doctor wear, complete with the bone-colored walking stick. Prior to that, he had sometimes taken the clothing and mask off when playing with the children, but he kept looking over at where it was hanging, and he eventually gave in to his extreme paranoia and put it back on again. Laura did get him to at least remove his mask at the table when the family had a rare meal together, and he stared at it the entire time, upsetting everyone. He eventually would give up eating, put the mask back on, and leave the guest house to tend to the sick in the main house. Or he might go with Nicholas to bury more of the dead at odd hours of the night when most were asleep. When he was with Nicholas, their talk was often about the rituals of some of the plague doctors that performed to help in warding off the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death. They would also discuss at great breadth and depth the steps that needed to be taken to not get smallpox themselves and the importance of impeccable hygiene to minimize risk. The smells emitting from the morgue became of increasing concern. First, the doctor's obsession with hygiene was paramount in his own mind, and he was worried about the rotting bodies would spread disease. Second, the odors coming from the makeshift morgue were atrocious, and even Dr. Barton found it upsetting. The staff and patients were beside themselves with angst about the morgue and the terrible odors. Lastly, the smells reminded Dr. Barton that the morgue was filling up fast and that Nicholas could only bury the bodies at a rather slow pace. Reginald Jr. was no longer helping him at the demand of his mother, who was concerned about her son's exposure to smallpox, as well as her fear that Nicholas would influence the boy to eventually wear his own plague doctor mask. Laura cringed at the thought. It was Christmas Eve of 1793 when things became even more disturbing at October House. After putting the younger children to bed and asking the older ones to keep quiet, Laura decided to go to the main house and see if her husband was planning to stay with them that night. Despite his insatiable appetite for work, Dr. Barton did enjoy spending Christmas Eve and Christmas morning together with his family. Before his descent from sanity, the children were always most important to him. He loved spending time with each of them and as a group along with Laura. His love of medicine and curing the sick was overtaken by his obsession with the outbreak that had now much of New England in its grasp. Laura hoped he would be coming home soon with her so he could relax and spend a couple of days away from the patients. He had 2 very competent nurses working full-time, with several assistants who did the more menial tasks. There was no reason he couldn't take a break, though Laura knew he probably wouldn't do it. Laura went to the back door of the home and found it unlocked. It was nearly 10 p.m. and the house was very quiet. She did hear someone groaning in one of the bedrooms on the first floor, now converted to a patient room. Then it stopped, and a wave of soft snoring and sleeping sounds swept toward her as she made her way down the hallway. She called out for her husband and for Nicholas as well, but with no answer. Laura began to feel very uneasy for some reason, like she was being watched, yet there was no one there. She continued to cry out for both men, but neither responded. Just as Laura put her hand on the balustrade at the bottom of the grand staircase, she heard a noise coming from the west end of the first floor, where Reginald kept his study. Laura knew that this was where they had now been storing the dead, having converted it to a morgue lined with massive blocks of ice and a constant replenishing of various herbs, flowers, and spices to help mask the horrid smell. She heard the noise again, which sounded like something familiar, but she couldn't name it. Still feeling very apprehensive, Laura took slow steps toward the morgue, and the noises she heard were getting louder now. She stepped as quietly as she could, but the empty echoes on the hardwood floors and plaster walls and high ceilings rang out like a massive church bell on Sunday. Her hand steadied on the doorknob, which was cool to the touch. She had a handkerchief in her left hand to cover her nose, yet the stench coming from behind the door was astonishing. Closing her eyes briefly, Laura turned the knob. The noises were loudest now and only a few feet beyond the door as she opened it in the gloom. What Laura saw inside the morgue was like something from her most terrifying nightmares. The room was dimly lit by candlelight. While it was colder inside the room than Laura expected, she knew it was not cold enough to stop the bodies from decaying faster. In the light, Laura saw her husband and Nicholas sitting on a small card table in the middle of the room. The look on their faces when she stepped into the room was complete shock, while at the same time an almost arrogance that she dared to disrupt their activities. They both had their long coats on, but the masks were off and hanging from a hook on the wall. The look on Laura's face was utter disgust and repulsion at what she was witnessing on this Christmas Eve. On the card table between the men were various body parts. A slimy liquid was running down the legs of the table and pooling on the hardwood floor below. Both Dr. Barton and Nicholas were in mid-eating when Laura walked in, their faces wet with human glaze. The look in their eyes was chilling. The doctor appeared to be eating the flesh from a woman's lower leg and foot, while Nicholas was biting into the buttocks of another. At their feet were several other bodies, askew and in various stages of decomposition. It appeared that some had pieces of flesh cut from them. Moments before, the two men were laughing and enjoying their Christmas Eve feast, complete with a bottle of the doctor's best red wine. Now they were staring at Laura and contemplating what to do since she had seen what had been going on at October House. The fact that it was Christmas Eve seemed to heighten the perversion. They were also both drunk, as they had already consumed one bottle of wine and were working on a second when Laura interrupted their feast of flesh. She ran for the door, hoping to get outside before one of them caught up with her. The revulsion that she felt was now being overridden with survival instinct. Her mind immediately began to shift to the children, hoping that if something were to happen to her, they would be safe from harm. Laura slammed the door behind her as Dr. Barton stood up, swaying slightly before steadying himself with his walking stick. Nicholas was up quickly and followed him to the door in pursuit of a frantic yet driven Laura. All right, there you go. A little gruesomeness in Murder Metal Mayhem with my story, October House. So I hope you guys dig that. And if you like that story, you can read it all in Creation of Chaos 2. You can go on Amazon, or you can get it from me. Give you a signed poster and a bookmark with your order. So check out the episode description on how to get your own copy. And that audio version of the book will be available next year when I get them all done. So that'll be the end of me playing the audio clips from the stories. I wanted to do a few this month. And, of course, next week we're doing the full The Last Supper. So I know I do talk some about my writing. And, of course, that's the whole reason why I'm doing a separate podcast called Voice of Dread Podcast. If you haven't seen it, I did a trailer for it, so you guys get a little taste of that. And I know, CK, you said you liked the intro that I did.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. I liked it.
Cool. I definitely had fun putting that together. The trailer's about 6.5 minutes long, so I'll link to that in the episode description as well. But you can go to voiceofdread.com, and the trailer is there. Once the show starts kicking off in January, every other week you'll see the episodes there, and you could subscribe and listen to it on the podcast players that you like. So that'll be going on starting in January. So all right, well, seasons beatings, guys, contests we got coming up here in December.
We got one contestant so far?
We got one. I need to get the other three lined up here, but yeah, we got one. Brian Usual actually was the winner of that one. I thought that was cool. So Brian's from the Chicago area, so we got one Chicago contestant so far. But yeah, we need to get our three others here before December, so we can get the 4 contest winners going at it. Artist Jeff Gaither's going to sponsor it. He's sending us some 11x17 prints for the studio, and one of those we'll send to the grand prize winner. And the grand prize winner also, Chris, gets to do something kind of special.
I mean, they definitely get to do an episode with this. They get to pick the feature. We'll give them a list, or pick out something. If we want to do it, we'll hook you up.
Yeah.
Definitely get to do the episode with us. So.
Oh, yeah. And we've got one coming up with Chris from Flowery Branch, Georgia. He's going to be doing a little Ed Kemper with us.
Ed Kemper, hell yeah, dude.
Last one of the year. That's going to be brutal. So he got
Plus
to
you
pick
will get other stuff besides just
T-shirt. We got some new shirts coming out with Jeff Gaither's
we got a new design coming. It's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait.
Really excited.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to roll that out. So we will be giving you more details as we get closer. But since we're not doing an episode next week, the next episode you hear will be the first week of December with a little Pedro Lopez, Joey. That's going to be fucking sick.
That dude fucking
South American.
Super fucking disgusting.
Hundreds. Yeah, really bad. And that'll
Most
be
of them
the
were in
first
prison.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
No, that dude just killed.
And he's
Anywhere
out
he was
now.
at, he killed.
Yeah, and he's not in
really
prison right
fucked
now
up.
at all.
I mean, he's probably killing.
He's probably killing.
He probably is. Very fucked up story. But anyway, that'll be the first week of Seasons Beating. So we'll see you there. But I think we've done plenty of mayhem tonight, guys.
Right.
So let's hit that fucking outro. What the fuck? Macabre, Richard, Speck, Grew Big Brass off the brand new one.
Baby.
Carnival
And Joey,
of Killers.
you love the fucking new one?
Yeah,
Dude,
super
everything
good.
I've heard off is
And that
great.
came back out on that was released on Nuclear Blast.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Which they had been on Nuclear Blast before back in the day, and then they fucking went to like Season of Mist for a couple albums or something. I can't remember, but this one's back on Nuclear Blast. So
Awesome.
that's badass.
Awesome. Very cool. Well,
Nuclear blast, winter.
bumper music tonight, Omen, Macabre, and Harlot. And CK's intro music, Chris, is by who?
Crysics.
Fucking Crysics and CK. Who the fuck does the Murder Metal Mayhem intro music?
Low 12.
Nice. And Joey, the 666 fucking 6 music provided to us by who?
Onslaught.
That's right. And you can go to spellboundeffectsandart.com to support indie artists like Tony Campagna. He's got a great online catalog where you can order your gore.
Dude,
so go
if
check
I did it
out.
right, I think I just posted one of his videos on our page. If I did it
Awesome.
right, but I'm stupid like that sometimes.
No.
So if you're hearing this, go check out our Facebook
Yeah.
page and check out this fucking video because everything on there
Yeah.
is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
awesome.
Tony is amazing. So go support it. Thanks to everybody out there listening, our listeners in Washington State. You guys kick fucking ass. You're at like 11 or 12% still at the top, above Chicago, Danbury, and Bloomington all battling it out. So we keep seeing the numbers rolling in, so thank you very much. Got some good comments tonight, Chris. You want to read that first one?
What's up, Rick Brown? Rick Brown says, my brother told me about you guys last week, and I've been powering through your episodes ever since. Love this podcast. Listening from Bangor, Maine, dude. Bangor.
Nice.
You guys fucking rule. No,
Stephen
you fucking
King country
rule, man.
there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You fucking rule, dude. Hell yeah, thank you, dude. Tell your brother what's up.
Yeah, hell
I don't
yeah.
know who your brother is, but tell him thank you,
Yeah,
too.
he's spreading the word over there. Joey?
Susan, the metal goddess, commented, "Love the funny commercials you guys do. Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance is the best."
Nice.
Hell yeah, they are.
Nice.
fucking
Those are
hilarious.
funny as hell, man.
I
I
don't care
love
how
doing
many
the
times I
fake
hear those
commercials.
ones.
Those are great. Those are great.
I feel like that's like an everlasting supply of comedy we could always do.
It
another
is.
Dr. Geen.
Dr.
We
Geen.
could.
Yeah.
We could. CK, what's that third one there, man?
Mosh Pit Man is 666 said, has CK done a feature on Venom yet? I'm a listener from London, England, and I love the show. Serial killers and metal go nicely together. Hail, mates. And yes, I did do a feature
I
on Venom.
thought you
I don't
did,
remember what
yeah.
episode number it was.
I can't give it the episode, but it was last year, right around when her album came out.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Mosh Pit Madness 666. Go to whenever that last album came out. That would be right around when we
We
would
need
have
an
done
intern. Shit. Go
Yeah.
back and drink all our
it. Oh,
shit.
my God. Yeah, to try to keep track of all of it. All right, very good. And, Chris, what was that last one there?
Darla Quiggins says, I really like hearing Pete read the 2 stories in the last 2 episodes. I'm very excited to hear the new podcast he's doing. So, hell yeah, dude. It's going to be fucking pretty good. It's going to be all about your fucking writing, all
Yep.
about
Horror and
little
suspense.
horror and literature
Horror and
and-
suspense.
all them horror type novels.
So thank you, Darla, very much. I'm glad you liked that. And yeah, Voice of Dread podcast is going to be fun. And so we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm not changing anything about Murder Metal Mayhem. I'm still going to be doing the same thing I've been doing, just something else. So don't worry about that. Don't forget to check out murdermetalmayhem.com. Listen to all the podcasts now on the Horn's Eye Podcast Network. So we are growing, guys. And like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the show on Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, iTunes, and more. And leave us content or comments wherever you go and listen. It helps, give us a rating. It helps move us up the chain so more people can hear it and be more visible. So
Get on that 666 club,
man.
yo. Come on.
Patreon life.
Patreon live.
Patreon.com/Murder Metal Mayhem. Join the 666 Club. $3 a month, guys. We talk about it all the time, but membership has its privileges, man. They get to hear everything first.
Get to hear everything first. You get
Now
the
there's a fucking
notes.
Ramirez and a fucking Dahmer.
Yeah,
episode.
you got
Full
2 episodes you haven't even heard because you're not a member. That's
and they're
fucked
We
up.
just
got new ones coming up.
completely with those topics. Not
Yeah,
even like the
we
other.
don't do metal or mayhem. It's just all
Straight
Dahmer,
up.
all
All the time.
Ramirez. Yeah, so those
Also-
are good
Also,
episodes.
you get them perks on the merch and shit. And like we said, we got
Yeah,
new line
got
of
new shirts
coming
coming,
out.
so you're
Fucking-
gonna want it. So.
What you like true crime? Well, then you can hear Dr. Kathleen Ramsden's fucking interviews. You can
Right.
hear Harold
Whole interview
Schechter,
right there.
Right.
Harold
fucking
Schechter,
John
too.
Borowski.
Right?
Oh, you like metal? Oh, we got interviews with that shit too.
Oh yeah, we got all kinds of it. So we do a lot of stuff here, and the 666 Club is a good way to experience it from a VIP kind of way. So you can also go to PeteAltieri.com if you want to pick up one of my books. And we can't let them go without hearing a karaoke song. Now, there was some crazy fucking wind this weekend. We were flickering power on Saturday and Sunday. I was afraid to come out here and try to record for fear I'd power surge and fry something. So I didn't do it. So I'm going to do a replay of one that I did just for our friend Pete Zaradovich. Pete loves this fucking band. And I thought it kind of tied in with Robert Hansen, because Chris, he was doing it all for the fucking nookie. I mean, that's all he wanted.
All for the nookie.
So
He might have took a cookie and shoved it up her ass.
that's
He
possible.
was a baker. He was a baker.
The nookie. Oh, boy.
Well, until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And keep your fist around that airplane throttle and killing bitches.
Check, 1, 2. I came into this world as a reject. Look into these eyes, and you see the size of the flame. Dwelling on the past, burning on my brain. Everyone that burns to learn from the pain. Hey, I think about the day my girlie ran away with my pay when the fellas came to play. Now she sucked with my homies and she fucked. I'm a sucker with the lump in my throat. Hey, like a chump, I'm like a chump, like a chump, like a chump. I'm like a chump, like a chump, like a chump. Should I be feeling bad? Should I be feeling good? It's kinda sad. I'm the laughing stock of the neighborhood, and you would think I'd be moving on, but I'm a sucker, like I said. Fucked up in the head, not. Maybe she just made a mistake, and I should give her a break. My heart'll ache either way. Hey, what the hell you want me to say? I won't lie, that I can't deny. I did it all for the nookie, so you can take the cookie. Shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your. I did it all for the nookie. You can take the cookie and shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your ass. Why did it take so long? Why did I wait so long, huh? To figure it out, but I didn't, and I'm the only one underneath the sun who didn't get it. I can't believe that I could be deceived by my so-called girl, but in reality, had a hidden agenda. She put my tender heart in a blender till I surrendered. Hey, like a chump, I'm like a chump, like a chump, like a chump. I'm like a chump, like a chump, like a chump. I did it all for the nookie, so you can take the cookie. Shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your. I did it all for the nookie, so you can take the cookie. Shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your, shake it up your ass. I'm only human. It's so easy for your friends to give you their advice. They'll just tell you, just let it go. It's easier said than done. I appreciate it, I do. But just fucking leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me alone. Nothing's gonna change, and you can't go away. And I'm just gonna stay here and always be the same. And nothing's gonna change, 'cause you can't go away. And I'm just gonna stay here and always be the same. Nothing's gonna change, 'cause you can't go away. Nothing's gonna stay here and always be the same. I did it all for the nookie, so you can take the cookie and shake it up yours, shake it up yours, shake it up yours, shake it up yours. I did it all for the nookie, so you can take the cookie and shake it up yours, shake it up yours, shake it up yours, shake it up your ass, bitch.
This one goes out to my buddy Pete Zaradovich, the biggest Limp Bizkit fan on the face of the fucking earth. Love you, brother.
Mother, man.